anywhere because Portia's got a great show for you coming up, and the stream is headed your way too. Have a great day, you guys.
1 p.m. hour. We're streaming here on Fox Local, also on your favorite social media sites like TikTok, YouTube. Remember, this is a news conversation, a little bit different from your traditional broadcast show. So if you want to weigh into this conversation, feel free to do so on social media, and we'll try to address your comments. Let's go ahead and get into our top stories for this hour here. We have an update on a triple shooting in Southeast Atlanta. A 43-year-old woman is dead and 2 others are injured when a dispute between several groups escalated into gunfire on Jonesboro Road in Southeast Atlanta. This happened yesterday afternoon. Atlanta police say 3 people were standing in the parking lot. That is at the Little Bear Food Mart on Jonesboro Road. This when gunfire erupted shortly after noon yesterday. So officers found the 43-year-old woman who died at the scene. 2 other victims, a woman and man who uses a walker, officials say, were rushed to Grady Memorial Hospital. They are expected to survive, which is good news for them. Officers say this dispute broke out between groups over some kind of disrespect. And they also say while the groups were fighting, someone began spraying bullets, hitting 3 people who were just standing in the parking lot there. So a very scary situation for people involved. Police confirmed all 3 victims were innocent bystanders in their mid to late 40s, and they have not yet released the names of the 2 surviving victims or the specific identity of the woman who died. While surveillance video shows 2 people running away after the shots were fired, investigators have not released a description of the suspect or confirmed if they have identified the person who opened fire. The shooting does remain under investigation by the Atlanta Police Department. Officers say they are reviewing surveillance footage that shows the moments the groups began to run as the shooting started. Authorities are asking anyone with information about this incident to contact the Atlanta Police Department immediately. Again, this happening at the Little Bear Food Mart on Jonesboro Road yesterday afternoon. We'll keep you updated as we learn more. 1 woman dead, 2 people injured. Another update here on a deadly crash investigation involving a U.S. Postal Service truck. Police in DeKalb County have identified the victim here, the U.S. Postal Service worker killed in this incident. This also happening yesterday, last night. 40-year-old woman named Tinisha Cade from Atlanta. Police say that is the name of the victim. According to authorities, the crash happened around 7:11 p.m. in the 3700 block of Larkspur Terrace near Iris Lane. And now when officers got to the scene here, police say they located a 2-vehicle crash between the postal vehicle and a passenger vehicle. And preliminary investigations suggest the passenger vehicle was making a turn from Iris Lane onto Larkspur when it struck the postal truck, causing it to overturn. The driver of the postal truck died from her injuries at the scene. And this morning, the U.S. Postal Service confirmed the tragic loss of a postal family member. They released a following statement saying, quote, "Our thoughts are with their family, friends, and colleagues during this difficult time. We will be providing counseling services to our employees at the Decatur Main Post Office as the investigation into the incident continues," end quote. Again, the Postal Service worker has been identified as 40-year-old Tinisha Cade from Atlanta. It is unknown at this time if any charges will be filed for the other person involved. More information may be released by police as this investigation continues. Now let's talk about how to track your Georgia Department of Revenue tax rebate. This is a big story here that many of you are interested in because pretty soon here Georgians will have more money in their pocket. The Georgia Department of Revenue will begin issuing tax rebate payments in early May to residents across the state. The state is distributing $1.2 billion in cash from a $14 billion surplus, and according to the the Georgia Department of Revenue. Single filers will receive $250, while heads of households will get $375. Married couples filing jointly are set to receive $500. Governor Kemp signing off on these rebates back in March, marking the 4th year the state has returned cash to the people. To be eligible for the money, you must have paid taxes during the qualifying years. Most people should see the funds arrive as early as May 1st. The money will be delivered the same way you received your tax refund, which for most Georgians is through a check or in the mail or a direct deposit. Now, while the state says payments begin in early May, the specific date an individual taxpayer can see their funds in their bank account or mailbox is not yet clear. But if you want to track your payment, you can. Just check the status of your cash on the state's website here. Again, these payments start in early May. Specifically for you, just track your payment by going to the state's website. Let's move forward and talk about what Fox 5 News is working on this afternoon. A lot of top stories here. We're going to bring in our Fox 5 assignment manager, Tanya Mendoza, and she has a look at these stories. This first one, Tanya, the governor speaking, surveying the damage from the Pineland Fire.
That's right. Governor Kemp held a press conference today. It's supposed to start around 11:45, but I think it didn't start until closer to noon. Our Ray Yadina is down there with our photographer, Austin Haygood. The governor surveyed the area of the Pineland Fire in Clinch and Eccles counties, and then he held a press conference. What we know is over 55,000 total acres burning, over 100 homes lost, the most in Georgia history. This is the largest fire going on right now in the United States, wildfire in the United States. And let's go ahead and listen in to what the governor had to say.
When we got the briefing on the Pineland Fire here, one of the things that stood out to me to let you know what we've been dealing with, what the folks on the ground have been dealing with, this fire doubled in size in 2 days. And you all know how big the fire is, but it shows you how quickly this thing flared up and moved. I will just tell you that from Sunday when the First Lady and I were down visiting the Highway 82 fire to today, there's been, Sunday was a really, really tough day. Monday was a tough day. Even though things are getting a little better down here, it's really rough up in Brantley County. The weather was not good. The fire was burning really hot, very dangerous, really taxing for the team. When we landed there this morning back in Nahutta, completely different attitude. That little bit of rain that we got, it allowed us to gain some ground, and everybody's feeling really good about that. We're definitely not out of the woods, but feeling a lot better. And I know the team here feels the same way. We got to stay vigilant here, but they've done a great job taking advantage of a good weather day yesterday. And the team here was telling us that they had a good day on the ground yesterday, and I believe that they will today. Despite the little bit of rain that we're getting, and we're getting some in North Georgia today, thank goodness, we're still in the worst drought that we've seen in 20 years. So I want people, our fellow Georgians, people around the country to understand that a little bit of rain is going to help us, but it's not going to get us out of this situation. We're going to be dealing with this for quite a while. Also, EPD, the Georgia Environmental Protection Division, issued a level 1 drought declaration for all of Georgia yesterday, so we're dealing with that as well. Our wildfires are already above a 5-year average. I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a few minutes. And again, we are under a temporary burn ban statewide, and the main reason we're doing that is just to make sure that we don't have to go pull off of these big fires and go put out something that started in somebody's yard and got out. It's just a matter of resources, and we'll turn that around and open that back up just as soon as we can get things under control.
Right. So there you go, listening into the governor's press conference. Let me mention real quick. He did mention this 91 county burn ban in effect. Also, the National Guard has been mobilized to help out, and absolute no drone zone for private pilots. This is a few of the other things that were mentioned. But I want to say that on the Georgia Forestry's website, they also talk about how people can make donations to help emergency workers and people who have lost their homes, specifically on the Pineland Road Fire, which is the area that the governor was surveying today. They're asking that be coordinated through local emergency management agencies, local first responders, and community partners, so resources can be distributed where they are needed most. Jasmine, so it's, we woke up here with lightning and thunderstorms. So it's just strange, that down south, like the governor said, it's sunny, and this continues. So everybody needs to be vigilant.
Right, that's right. And thanks for providing that extra information on how people can support Georgians affected by this fire here. Another fire investigation, but police believe it is arson. Let's talk about this out of DeKalb County. I know we have a reporter covering that.
That's right. Annie Mapp went over to DeKalb County today, where they held a press conference where the CEO, Lorraine Cochran, the police chief, and the interim fire chief were all there talking about this. It was a big deal yesterday when Sunday into Monday overnight hours, they were dealing with a arsonist lighting woods fires in the area. So basically, they talked about this. 15 intentional fires were set in just 6 hours within a half-mile radius of the Clarkston area, GSU Clarkston. Also, flames reached the doorsteps of a local mosque and the village at the Creek Apartments. No injuries, but this was a big deal. They had to respond to all of this in those overnight hours. They do have someone under arrest. That person's name is Wasim Majid, 37 years old. We have reached out to the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office to see if we can get his mugshot. We do know that right now the charges for him listed on the jail's website say improper burning. That's a misdemeanor, and possession of marijuana less than 1 ounce. So I'm assuming those charges are going to change because of what they said at the press conference, but we are monitoring that. Annie Mapp will have the latest, and we'll probably have that mugshot a little later today.
And Tanya, we do have some sound from DeKalb County's CEO, Lorraine Cochran Johnson, on this, because we know this press conference just happened. So let's take a quick listen to that.
Perfect.
But I will say that the fires that we've seen over the past several days that have been set were alarming. And oftentimes when it comes to arson, because it became very clear to us early on that this was the work of an intentional arsonist, it is imperative that you move and respond expeditiously and quickly, because of course once a fire is set, it can travel. And of course, I'm very grateful that we were able to prevent the fire from spreading to dwellings, but nonetheless, for us, it was extremely concerning. And I just want to let DeKalb County residents know that at this moment, we are extremely confident that we have the proper individual in custody, and there is no need to be fearful. But again, to everyone out there, if you see something, say something. We're very thankful for the quick action of residents who alerted us to the initial fire, and within a matter of hours, we were quickly able to determine that we were dealing with an arsonist and intentional fires.
Wow, Jasmine, really scary for them overnight hours, Sunday into Monday, because just imagine having to respond to so many 15 intentional fires set and trying to make sure that everybody's safe, putting it out on time. So it's truly a miracle that nothing spread to a building and then no one was hurt.
Yeah, it is a miracle here, and like you said, we do expect those charges to change because that's a lot of fires that the situation that's involved in this situation, a very scary situation indeed.
That's right.
And our last story that we're going to talk about today has to deal with Atlanta City Council and them addressing ICE activities. So what do we know now about this?
Yes, that's right. Reporter Angelique Proctor had an update. She's doing this story today. She mentioned it in our morning meeting. Basically, the Atlanta City Council voted unanimously to pass 2 resolutions, and this is all regarding ICE. And the first resolution is formal opposition to ICE converting city warehouses into mass detention centers, and they were citing concerns in that people have seen already in social circle. The second one is a new transparency rule requiring APD to document all ICE interactions and retain related body cam footage. So that's what she is working on. She interviewed Councilman Antonio Lewis about this, and she's going to have that story a little later today. Now, once again, I want to emphasize these are resolutions. So that's what was voted on, and that's the story she has today on ICE and the Atlanta City Council.
Tanya, thank you so much for joining us to talk about what Fox 5 News is working on. Looking forward to these stories being covered and what reporters gather. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Time is 1:15 right now. When we return, we'll talk about a new fire station opening in Clayton County, a very big story here out of that area. We'll have details when we come back. Welcome back to Fox 5 News Live. I'm Jasmine Cornell. Thanks for joining our streaming conversation here, our news conversation, a little different from your traditional broadcast show. Here's where we interact directly with viewers. So let's get out to the Clayton County where our Eli Jordan is. Clayton County Fire and Emergency Services is opening a new headquarters and fire station number 1. A major investment here in public safety. Eli, I know you've been able to speak to people today, the representatives from the department. What did they tell you during the ribbon cutting ceremony?
They told me, hey, good afternoon, Jasmine. Yeah, they told me the place has a new car smell to it. It's brand new. It's got state-of-the-art facilities, especially here at the headquarters, which has a clinic. So, if you come in from a fire here in Clayton County and, you got a little abrasion on you and you need checked up, you just walk over to the clinic. Or if you're working a shift and you're feeling like you got a cold coming on, you walk over to the clinic. It's inside that building right there. That's the new headquarters, and it's really cool. And there's the new fire station number 1, and it's replacing the old 1990 building, fire station number 1. And I got a little video this morning from the ribbon cutting, and as they're dedicating the new fire station number 1, they had a ribbon cutting. As county leaders, firefighters, and former firefighters gathered together, dedicating the new Clayton County Fire Headquarters and the fire station number 1. Now, they did do a little memorial plaque, unveiled a memorial plaque for the old fire station, the 1990 building, because it's still, a lot of people actually live there. Firefighters work 24 on and 48 off, and so the building is still special to them, so they have a little memorial plaque there for them. And so they also had a hose disconnection ceremony for fire station number 1. It's a big deal because, like I said, they live in that place. It's their second home. Now, I did speak with Morrow City Manager Landry Mickerson, and he is also the former fire chief here at Clayton County. Here's what he had to say about today's event and what this means.
So you're seeing state-of-the-art living facilities for our men and women. They're incredibly taxed throughout their shift, so giving them a place of comfort, a place to come home, a place of refuge to recoup. Separate living quarters for our men and women, so many of our older stations have the old traditional large bunk rooms, so giving them that privacy, as they're here for 24 hours a day, giving them a place where they can feel at home. Has all the comforts of home that you would want, as you're relaxing. And then for our administration, a place to be able to expand, a place that's representative of what we do here. We go beyond just managing an organization. We care for our people. So to have a first of its kind employee clinic that can serve to help heal them, help rehabilitate them, and add other layers of service to this community.
Now, what's also cool about this, Jasmine, is that this land that we're standing on, it was donated by Southern Regional Medical Center, which is adjacent to the fire station, and they gave this to the county to build a new fire station. They've been working, cooperating a lot here lately. Clayton County Fire is the first fire station in the state of Georgia to carry fresh live blood in their rescue units, so when they show up at a scene and someone's injured and they have a lot of blood loss, they can administer blood right then and there, which is a big deal and saves many, many lives, and has already saved a bunch of lives. So there's a nice collaboration between the medical hospital here and the Clayton County Fire Department. And then today was just a good day all around for Clayton County Fire as they celebrate their new headquarters and their new fire station number 1 after 36 years of their original fire station number 1. Outgrowing that and then able to move into this new nice 2-story big building here. Jasmine?
Eli, thanks so much for bringing us the story and gathering the details on this. It is a huge investment here in public safety and firefighter wellness. So glad to see them doing this. Eli, we'll check in with you a little later. Thanks for joining us here at 1:22. Moving forward, let's talk about AI. Is artificial intelligence removing jobs overnight? It's a scary question there. That's the consensus among many in the workforce, but workforce futurist and visibility strategist Patrice Williams-Lindo with Career Nomad says AI isn't replacing you. It's actually repricing you. Very interesting. So she spoke with Good Day Atlanta's Elise Edie on this, and let's take a listen. Well, looks like it's paused there. So hopefully we'll be able to take a listen to this topic because it's very interesting. I know many people I've been seeing on social media complaining and saying, or expressing concerns, I should say, about AI taking over jobs, especially people graduating from college right now. And it's very scary. We don't want AI to take over our jobs, but hopefully maybe later we can hear from this lady here who spoke with Elise Edie on this. And again, she said, AI isn't replacing you, it's repricing you. Time is 1:23. When we return, we'll have more news on our stream. Welcome back to Fox 5 News Live. I'm Jasmine Cornell. You're taking a live look here outside because we're going to talk weather now. It's been a rainy couple of days, and I believe the rain will continue. Let's bring in meteorologist Alex Forbes. He has a look at your forecast for today and the rest of the week.
Monitoring severe weather out to the west here through the afternoon, and some of that finds its way in towards northern Georgia by the time we get into the evening hours tonight. Look at this, back into Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, a level 3 risk in place out there. Parts of northwest Georgia clipped by a level 2 with a level 1 coming as far east as metro Atlanta. Now, I'm not looking for necessarily a crazy line of storms. I think this does a good job showing the weakening trend, but still nonetheless likely a loud evening into the overnight hours tonight across metro Atlanta and North Georgia. So our rain chance for the remainder of the day at 90%, particularly as we get into the overnight hours, 80% for tomorrow morning. And then notice we stay unsettled there on Thursday and Friday before we see another system on the horizon by the time we get towards Saturday. So this is good news, right? We're wanting to get into this active pattern to put a dent in the drought situation. Let's time it out hour by hour this evening, 11, 12, 1, 2. This is going to be your line of storms here from Blairsville down towards Canton and Carrollton. That's going to continue to push into metro Atlanta. Notice how it gets that arcing feature to it, indicative of maybe some strong straight line winds. As this line comes through, there is also the low end risk of a brief spin up tornado. Nothing that is going to be strong, but still a 95-mile-an-hour tornado can be impactful, and that would be the type of thing that we'd be looking at into the evening tonight if we're able to get the ingredients coming together. So I want you to have a way to receive weather alerts here through the overnight hours. Getting into tomorrow morning, looking at some scattered showers hanging around, kind of like this morning after that main line came through before we clear out for the afternoon. Now, it doesn't look like our next system will be on the horizon until we get towards Saturday, at least in terms of an organized system. A 60% chance for morning showers and storms there before we get to Sunday and clear out. Really, Saturday afternoon, we're going to clear out across the metro area. So that's what we've got on the docket, at least for the weekend. And as we look at this, compared to the drought situation we've had across northern Georgia, that's good news. Here's how it shapes up on the computer forecast model. This is one of our lower resolution but longer range models. You see widespread rain and maybe some storms across the area Saturday morning. Its counterpart, the GFS, I just showed you the European. This is the GFS, has something very similar. So I would expect a wet Saturday morning. Any early T-ball games will be wet. Into the afternoon, not so much. And again, great news considering the drought situation that we're in. Exceptional drought, obviously still down to the south where the wildfires are burning, but we have extreme drought in metro Atlanta and across North Georgia in many locations. All right, speaking of that, how much rain do we need to put an end to all of this? These are new numbers as of yesterday. If we got 14 inches in a month, that would do it. But that would not be good news, because if we got 14 inches of rain in a month, we would definitely be contending with flooding. I think the thing that's most reasonable is if over the next 3 months we get 20 inches of rain, or in other words, about 1 3/4 inches each week, then that would put us in good shape. I don't think that's necessarily on the horizon, but I do think we're trending in the right direction. Speaking of which, the wildfires down to the south, quick update for you. The Brantley County fire up to 22,000 acres. That's just over 30 square miles, about 1,000 people impacted there. Meanwhile, over in Clinch and Eccles County, this one's now up to 32,000 acres, 569. The containment on this one is up, though, so that's good news. 23% contained. Hopefully, we will trend in the right direction there, and that weekend rain will help out as well. Only 180-degree temperature on the 7-day. That's tomorrow afternoon, 73 on Thursday, 68 on Friday. So it's been a while since I've said this. Seasonably cool into the weekend with more chances for rain on Saturday, particularly during the morning hours, clearing out for the afternoon.
All right, Alex, thanks for providing that weather update. There's some very important information as we continue to see wildfires across the state of Georgia. Moving forward, guys, let's talk about what's trending on Fox Local and Fox5Atlanta.com and bring in Fox 5's digital content creator, Sam Daniel. He has a look at the stories that you are clicking on the most on our website and during our live stream. So let's go ahead and bring that up. This first story is very crazy here out of Cherokee County. This man, 72 years old, charged with hitting people who are riding their bikes. How crazy is that?
I know, and it's all caught on camera. So it was in Cherokee County. Bike riders from the North Georgia Cycling Association were going on a 30-something mile ride when a driver pulled out behind them, according to these cyclists. The person then started honking at them, and then, as you just saw, they drove to kind of get around them and then hit them. According to police, the driver drove away. His name is 72-year-old Jerry Wayne Ross. He was found a little bit away from where this crash happened at a friend's house. Police said when they talked to Ross about what happened, he blamed the cyclist for the crash because they were, quote, in the road, end quote. So the person that was injured, his name is Richard Collins. They say he was treated by paramedics at the scene for shoulder, elbow, and knee issues, and you're seeing some of that road rash on your screen. But he told Fox 5's Denise Dillon last night that he later went to an orthopedic clinic, and they told him that he had fractured his lower spine, so some serious injuries out of this crash. Ross, the person, the 72-year-old man who allegedly hit the biker, now faces 6 different charges related to this. And we got a phone call earlier from a viewer, Jasmine. He was talking about the different laws around cyclists. So cyclists are allowed to ride side by side. It's called two abreast in state law. However, it says if they're impeding traffic, they are supposed to move. However, the Georgia Department of Highway Safety does not explain what impeding means or what different protocol has to be met to move over. That is left up for local law enforcement to interpret.
Wow, what a very crazy story here, and just scary, just watching the video of one of the guys who was hit there while riding his bike and then just sliding across the road.
I know. I always get nervous when I'm around bikers driving.
Me too.
It's very scary.
It's scary, and then it's just like, if you can, just slow down and stop for them, or veer over to the side. Let people ride their bikes in peace. I mean, so I'm glad that that these people are expected to be okay.
Yes.
No one died in this incident, but it's just very scary. And just as people out on the road, I guess it's another reminder to remain vigilant and watch out for drivers who may hit you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this other story, which, we also have a very vivid picture of the scene here where that lightning strike caused that garage to catch fire.
Yeah, so this happened this morning in Gwinnett County, and you just saw weather. Alex was talking about some storms that rolled through this morning. We have some more tonight, but with how dry everything has been, firefighters in Gwinnett County say this fire on your screen right here was started by a lightning strike. Our viewer, Bradley Stevens, thank you, Bradley, for sending this in. He lives in the neighborhood. Saw the smoke, saw the fire. Firefighters say it was early this morning, right around daybreak, when the call came in. It's a garage, and detached garage off of Highway 29 that was near a house that went up in flames from the lightning strike. Luckily, firefighters say they were able to get there. They were able to extinguish everything before it moved to nearby homes, and nobody was injured. But the garage that was up in flames is a total loss, according to firefighters. So this is just another example. We have the wildfires down in South Georgia. We've had several brush fires across different counties in the metro area, but this barn the detached garage, is the latest example of just how dry it's been and how bad we need rain.
Right, and we did just hear from Alex about that. Somebody in the comments here on TikTok said, what about the Georgia fires? And so I'm glad you mentioned that and tied that into the story. But glad here in this situation, no one was injured from this fire.
Yeah, I mean, you saw how big those flames were. It's very easy to imagine how someone could have been injured in a fire like that, even a firefighter trying to put it out. Gwinnett Fire said it only took 2 hoses, 2 lines, as they call them, to put out the fire.
Okay, thanks for giving us an update here on this situation. Let's talk a little bit of lighter news now, kind of lighter. Offset, he's doing better, and he says he's not going to stop.
Yes, so Offset, for those of you that don't remember, on April 6th, so almost a month now, Offset was shot in Miami outside of the Hard Rock Casino there, according to police. He was shot in the hip, and a week after that, he spoke with some podcasters while he was still receiving medical care about how the shooting happened, that he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and how it didn't stop him from returning to the stage just a few days after the shooting when he performed at the University of Arkansas. So let's listen to some of what he had to tell the podcasters.
Gladiator mentality, man, you know. The show don't ever stop. At the end of the day, I was blessed enough to be able to still move. All the other shit was just like distractions and just getting in the way of just doing in places, wrong place, wrong time. No, I was straight on that. I just got hit in my hip, so that was cool.
Okay, so for the record, PP works.
For the record.
Thank God. That's very important. I don't know what she put in this, but I feel.
Don't you feel something?
I feel something.
So Jasmine, you can see there, he's relaxed. He started that soundbite off by saying he wasn't going to stop, and he went on to say he's not stopping, and he's actually already working on new music inspired by this fight to recover after the shooting. So there's some new Offset music coming. We're excited to see what it's like, and we're just glad, like you said, it's a little lighter because he is recovering from a shooting, but as you can see there, he's doing well, and he is learning from his experiences.
Yes, some good news for Offset there. Looking forward to this new album and see what he says on this album, what he puts out. Sam, thanks so much for joining us to talk about what's trending on fox5atlanta.com and on Fox Local.
Of course.
Moving forward now, we are going to stick with our lighter news. Remember earlier we talked about artificial intelligence removing jobs overnight. Well, we had that interview that Elise Edie did with Patrice Williams-Lindo. She is saying that AI isn't replacing you, it's just repricing you. Let's take a listen.
All right, so you founded Career Nomad. Share with us what that is.
So Career Nomad is basically a visibility firm that helps people to translate what they do from tasks to outcomes. And that's the market that we're in right now with AI.
Interesting. Okay, so let's dive into that. I mean, what is actually happening right now?
Well, what's happening in the workforce is that AI is accelerating everything. So the tasks that you can do are automated. The outcomes that you can drive is the difference that you can make, because the reasoning, the nuance, the wisdom that goes behind the decisions that we're making can't be automated. And so as we're thinking about the work that we're doing, what is it that can be streamlined? How can you get more efficient to drive the outcomes that really are the meat and potatoes of what it is that we're doing? And that's what helps when AI comes on the scene and you being the different type of person that they need to do the work that needs to be done.
Okay, so mentioning AI coming on the scene, why is it that strong performers can get overlooked?
Well, the first thing is hard work is not the reward anymore. It's those outcomes that I was mentioning. So if you can get to the place where people understand the difference that your outcomes made to the bottom line of the work that you're doing, that's the differentiator. Because everybody has whatever experience they have. Everybody has the degrees and certifications and such. But when it comes to AI, all of that can be sped up. Decisions can be made faster, and your value can be judged that much quicker. So you've got to be able to land with that within 30 seconds or less, so people don't even have to interpret your value.
How interesting. Wow. Yes. So much of it is in being able to share what you're actually doing.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Interesting. So what should viewers and all of us, right, do immediately when it comes to, the work that we're doing in AI? What do you recommend?
When it comes to the work that you're doing, speak in terms of outcomes. When you introduce yourself, it's not how many years, for example, you've been in a field. It's not the degrees you have. It's what impact your work has made in your particular organization, industry, work group, all of the above.
Okay, give me an example of that. What does that sound like?
So, for example, I work in CIO, for example. If you work in CIO, you know all things tech. You understand cloud, you understand AI, you understand all the different process flows. But if you're able to say that you helped to implement a software that took people from, let's say, 100,000 people from writing things out manually to that being automated so now they can drive better customer service or customer experience, that carries weight because it's quantifiable, and it also shows that you're able to think strategically and scale the work that you're doing. So you're not just doing the work in front of you, but you're thinking 10 steps ahead. You can see around the corners, and you can do so quicker, sooner, faster. Speed is your friend in this case, to be able to say, hey, you want me because I know how to go from 10 to 10,000 or from 10,000 to 1,000,000, and this is my plan for doing it. Now it's just a matter of executing it.
What a great example that you just gave us. And that's so interesting. It's no longer I'm John and I've been with the company for 30 years.
Correct.
It's what you said.
Correct. Performance is not rewarded. Outcomes are.
Wow. That is such a different way of thinking, though.
Absolutely.
You know, like there's the old school way and then there's this.
Absolutely. Well, you used to be at a company for 25 years to retire and get the gold watch. Well, at this point, it's really better for you almost to go from company to company and gather those experiences, because you could talk about the outcomes that you've experienced in a particular industry that you've helped to either contribute to, lead, or even think of, right? Because you have that differentiated experience. So what can you do to leave the people you're talking with an impression that is quantifiable, not just qualitative?
All right. Any final thoughts for us?
No, I just want to tell people, do not be afraid of AI. Of course, it's in everything that we do. So how are you going to introduce yourself the next time you speak with someone about the work that you do? And in your next performance review, for example, you should try it out. As opposed to talking about how many things you did, talk about the outcomes that you drove and how that matches up to the company's or the organization's goals.
The wheels are turning, and I hope for you at home as well. Some fantastic ideas for us. Patrice Williams-Lindo with Career Nomad. Patrice, thank you so much for the help and insight today.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate this. This was great.
Elisa, thanks so much for doing this interview here. Very interesting topic as AI is being used in everyday life, and some people are concerned that it's going to take over their jobs. So a very interesting discussion there. Moving forward, pickleball's top players are back in town this week, serving up their best dinks and volleys in the case for points and prize money. This pickleball championship returns to a Lifetime in Peachtree Corners this week, bringing some fun to Metro Atlanta. Fox 5's Paul Milliken has more.
Well, nobody knows this sport better than the voice of pickleball. Let's hear that voice of pickleball. Dave Fleming, great to see you, my friend.
Let's play pickleball, baby. Come on.
All right, so you're back in Metro Atlanta. Do you love being here at Lifetime Peachtree Corners?
I do. It's so gorgeous. We're going to have 1,700 amateurs playing here, too. The best players in the world. And when you come in here and you've got the coniferous and the deciduous trees, it's so nice. Come on.
It's beautiful. Even when it's raining, it's beautiful. But that's the thing, is that you've got indoor and outdoor courts. So the weather really isn't setting things back, is it?
No, I mean, we're going to have a little bit of a backlog, play a little later tonight, but no big deal.
It's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah, it works out. And I've heard a rumor they can dry these courts so fast. Is that true?
Yeah, we have a Vaptor.
Oh. Well, tell me about a Vaptor.
Yes, the Vaptor is actually like a Zamboni for the ice, but it just literally sucks up the water. It's so awesome.
That's amazing. Well, let's talk about the people to watch in this tournament. When folks are watching on Pickleball TV or on National Network or they're here in person, who should they be watching for?
You got to start with the just superstar. I always say there's Michaela Schifrin, there's Katie Ledecky, and there's Anna Lee Waters. Hasn't lost singles in 700 days. Paul. It's ridiculous. She, like, when you want to, if you're a sports fan of any sport, you always want to go watch the best. Go get a chance to see LeBron James play. Get a chance to see Patrick Mahomes play. Get a chance to see Anna Lee Waters play out here. She's unbelievable. There's a lot of youngsters up and coming. Gabe Tardio, Hayden Patriquin. Lots of swag from the youngsters. I love that out here. So it's going to be loaded.
Well, somebody like an Anna Lee Waters, what What is it about her game that makes her so good? What should we be looking for in terms of how she's playing that sets her apart?
So beyond the just blessed skill set, and what's interesting is she might have been good enough to play soccer all the way up and maybe in the national team as a youngster. So freak athlete, but her will to win, she wants to take your soul, Paul. And I have never seen anyone. She will win 11-0, 11-0. Like Ben John's our best male player. We'll probably throw you a bone, Paul, and let you win a couple points. Anna Lee Waters will not, and the heart of a champion is unbelievable.
Wow. Well, see, and again, that's what's so great about this tournament. So we get to be very close. I mean, these are close quarters to the best in the world.
Absolutely, and I think that's what's cool. Just 20 feet by 44 feet is the size of our court, so you get to see the emotion. The other thing you get, our firefights are by far the thing that fans love. The kitchen's just 7 feet on either side of the net, so that exchange is so fast, and plus the ability to spin the ball. You see it right here when you're sitting up close and personal.
Yeah, so cool. No, finally, I mean, here's the thing. You're not just the announcer. You're a player and you're a fan, too. Is it hard to separate those roles? Like, when you're announcing, does the fan take over sometimes and you just want to watch and scream and yell?
I think I turn into that, and I think the audience appreciates that. Like, I get fired up, and I think that's what makes it fun. I have a bunch of catchphrases, like when the score's 8-all, like say we got snowmen in Hotlanta, and so I think that has sort of, I've helped build the vernacular of the sport with my enthusiasm, and I think the fans sort of gravitate to that too while they watch the best players in the world.
Well, that's pretty cool. That must feel pretty good knowing you're having an impact on the fastest growing sport like in the world, right?
I mean, it's an unbelievable privilege, Paul. So yes, times 1,000.
Amazing. All right. Well, thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out. There are no snowmen here right now. There's rain. We're going to get it out of here, I promise, okay?
All good, baby.
We're going to clear it up for you. Again, the Veolia Atlanta Pickleball Championships are happening now.
All right, sounds good. I've never played pickleball before, but sounds like a fun time. Your time right now is 1:47. We are going to talk about the Georgia wildfires after the break. Welcome back to Fox 5 News Live. I'm Jasmine Cornell. Let's talk flowers now. A global flower show is bringing spring to life in Atlanta with thousands of blooms turned into a fashion-inspired display, and it's taking over Phipps Plaza. Our Chris Rosenthal is there, and Chris, you get to be in this wonderful venue here and smell nice flowers. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I came in here this morning to the Phipps Plaza, and you could absolutely just really smell the smell of all the fresh flowers here going in. This is a third annual event that they've had here at Phipps Plaza, where they have about 12 installations by local floral designers here. We'll flip it around and just kind of show you one of them right here by the social pedigree here. These floral designers, and they're working on one of the 12 installations here. These beautiful, beautiful floral arrangements, all live flowers. But I'm joined by Karen with Flora DeVille, helping put on this program. And tell me a little bit about Flora and what people can expect here.
Well, Flora is the name of the Roman goddess of spring, so we wanted to use that as an anchor point to inspire local floral artists to create their most favorite flowers in a beautiful dress, so a floral couture dress, if you will. They're the designers, and what we see here is their wildest dreams come true as far as spring floral dresses are concerned.
And talk to me about, some of the themes and some of the flowers that we have here.
The flowers are so beautiful. They're very diverse. What we're seeing here a lot of times are a lot of beautiful things that you would find in a garden, especially with this particular installation. These are delphiniums, absolutely gorgeous delphiniums. They're an ombre shade. We have foxgloves. You'd find those in a garden. They're protea from South Africa. Those lovely iridescent, they've got a little shine on them. There are different mosses here. There's sea holly and thistles in there. We have lisianthus at the front here, the light purple ones. All of this together looks like an English country garden with a real wonderful nod to the Southern Hemisphere as well, and just put together in the most delightful way.
And what's amazing, this is all live. This is, this starts tomorrow. They're setting up today. This goes through Sunday. So all of these have to last for a week.
That's right. We call this perishable art. So you will never see this show again, ever. It will never be put together the same way. It will never be with the same floral artists. It won't be with the same flowers. So this is a must-see event for the next 5 days. And it is a must-keep-alive event as well. So the floral artists use different types of mechanics underneath the gowns. They have different water sources. They have to really think hard about the fact that this does have to stay alive for that many days. This is not like a wedding or an event where it's just a few hours or a day. This is over 5 days of freshness.
People want to come out and see this. It's completely free, right? They can just come to the mall during mall hours, huh?
Phipps Plaza has sponsored us to be here. They make it open and free to the public. So this is a really great way, if you're a flower lover, to come out, to entertain yourself, to support your local floral artist, and also to vote. You can vote on your favorite mannequin, your favorite fresh floral mannequin. There's also one in the Nobu Hotel lobby. And you can vote for your favorite one for a chance to win a 2-night weekend stay at Nobu, $1,000 for the Porsche Experience Center, and a $250 gift card from Phipps Plaza. So that prize is amazing, but more than anything, you're showing your support by voting on your favorite floral artists for those local artists.
Yeah, all local artists here. And then also, in addition to just coming by and admiring this art here, Saturday there's some events going on now.
That's right. On Saturday we'll have our flower market, so you can come and buy fresh flowers, but you'll also be able to sit down and enjoy the talks of some of our botanical artists. You'll be able to listen to them with some tips and tricks that they'll provide the public on how to keep flowers fresh, how to put things together in arrangements and bouquets. So it's a lot of fun, a great place to be.
Awesome. You can come on out to Phipps Plaza. Look at this, I love it. It's called, perishable art. So, for a limited time here until through Sunday. So come on out, check it out.
All right, that sounds good. Looks like a fun time out there. I'm curious to know how often they do this.
This is the third year that they have done this here at Phipps Plaza. But how often do you guys do these events here?
This is our one show around the world, so it's quite amazing. We started in Vancouver, Canada, where we're from, but we've traveled the world. We've featured over 1,600 floral artists around the world through 160 beautiful shows in 5 countries and 34 different cities. This is our third time here at Phipps Plaza, and we came to Atlanta because your floral talent here is so incredible, and we wanted to showcase it, which we've done.
Wonderful. Well, there you go. Yeah. So around the world and here in Atlanta.
All right, Chris, thanks so much for joining us to talk about this a very great event here where it smells nice, floral event. Thanks for joining us, Chris. And before we go, I do want to share one story with you. There's Chris there still talking, but we'll let him enjoy the flowers here. One quick story before we go. There's been an update. I don't know if you remember the Taylor Swift concert where, this man is now accused of plotting an attack on her concert in Austria. This guy has pleaded guilty now. So, and there's a look at that video there. While the plot was foiled, authorities there still canceled the singer's performance. This happened back in August of 2024. The 21-year-old's trial began today, and again, he pleaded guilty. He could be facing 20 years in prison. And in 2024, there's Taylor Swift herself. In 2024, authorities said the suspect swore allegiance to the Islamic State group and hoped to kill as many people as possible in his plotted attack. But his lawyer says he's glad his trial is finally beginning today after more than 20 months in custody, and he says he regrets what he calls, quote, the biggest mistake of his life. Just an update there on the person, the man, the 21-year-old accused of plotting an attack on Taylor Swift's concert in Austria. Your time is 1:56. When we return here at 2 o'clock, we'll have some of your top headlines.
Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here at 2 o'clock. We've got a lot of news to get to, as we always do. And if you stepped outside this morning or were up early, you saw something unusual, which is, let's get a live look outside. Some cloudy skies and a bit of rain this morning. Not what we've been used to here in North Georgia as we've been facing this drought. So any little bit helps. I want to let you know that more substantial rain is expected tonight. You're taking a live look there at our radar as you can see these fast-moving storms are moving through the area. But overnight, we're going to expect the possibility of severe weather. Our Fox 5 storm team will continue to keep you updated as that progresses forward. But we're going to have cooler temperatures as a result of this front after several days of these rain chances. So we're going to listen to meteorologist Alex Forbes here coming up in the 2 o'clock hour. He'll let us know what to expect for the week and weekend ahead. But in the meantime, let's get out live to Atlanta's airport, because the weather that we have been experiencing this morning led to a long ground stop. And at this point, according to FlightAware, more than 950 flights have been delayed, at least 40 flights canceled, and the vast majority of delays are coming from Delta and its partners. So at this point, things do seem to be getting somewhat back to usual, but it is something that's going to continue to have ripple effects. So just a heads up, if you have a flight today, or if you've got a loved one coming in, someone you're picking up, just a heads up. Something else that we continue to follow here in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom. Check out this video sent to us by a viewer. This is just wild. A Gwinnett County garage caught on fire after lightning struck it. Fox 5 viewer Bradley Stevens sent this to us, and you can see Gwinnett County firefighters actually battled a massive blaze at this detached garage off of Highway 29 Tuesday this afternoon. And despite the intensity of the flames, crews successfully prevented the fire from spreading to nearby homes, so that is good news. And they do believe this is accidental, the result of a lightning strike. So we'll keep you updated as there's anything else that this comes as a result of this. But let's get out to Fox 5's Ray Urena, because today our governor was surveying the damage from the Pineland Fire and looking at the response operations there. Ray, this is really incredible, because I understand despite their best efforts, and they've been working really hard, the fire's not much more contained.
Yeah, there is a bit more containment area, but we have a chopper passing over us. There you go. There we go. So that's one of the choppers that's working to help put out the Pineland Road Fire, I should say. Right now, you have choppers like this from the Georgia National Guard that are helping put out these flames. We just saw that chopper right before you came to us, Ariel, pick up some water and fly over us. Right now, we're not too far removed from where the Pineland Road Fire is. It is over in this field over to my left over here. I'm going to have photojournalist Austin Hager kind of show what exactly we're looking at. This is a very rural area. We're near Fruitland Church of God. That is exactly where we're at. But the good news is that there is a bit more containment for both the Pineland Road Fire in Clinch County and the Highway 82 fire in Brantley County. Right now, the Pineland Road Fire is at 32,541 acres with a containment of about 23%. Meanwhile, the Highway 82 fire is right now at more than 22,600 acres with a containment of about 32%. So a big jump in containment for that fire in particular. Though they got a little bit of rain to help out with this, according to the governor, there is still a lot of fire activity going on. But we have spoken with the Georgia National Guard. They say they are continuing to fly these missions like that with that helicopter that you just saw just moments ago. They are now starting to transition to more ground-based attacks, a much more aggressive approach. Just a little bit of good news, but there is some instability in the atmosphere that's presenting a challenge to firefighters today. I just wanted you to take a listen to this, what they had to say, what officials had to say in the presser not too long ago about that challenge that they're about to face.
When we got the briefing on the Pineland Fire here, one of the things that stood out to me to let you know what we've been dealing with, what the folks on the ground have been dealing with, this fire doubled in size in 2 days. And you all know how big the fire is, but it shows you how quickly this thing flared up and moved. I will just tell you that from Sunday when the First Lady and I were down visiting the Highway 82 fire to today, there's been, Sunday was a really, really tough day. Monday was a tough day. Even though things were getting a little better down here, it's really rough up in Brantley County. The weather was not good. The fire was burning really hot, very dangerous, really taxing for the team. But we landed there this morning back in Nahutta, completely different attitude. That little bit of rain that we got, it allowed us to gain some ground, and everybody's feeling really good about that. We're definitely not out of the woods, but feeling a lot better. And I know the team here feels the same way. We got to stay vigilant here, but they've done a great job taking advantage of a good weather day yesterday, and the team here was telling us that they had a good day on the ground yesterday, and I believe that they will today. Despite the little bit of rain that we're getting, and we're getting some in North Georgia today, thank goodness, we're still in the worst drought that we've seen in 20 years. So I want people, our fellow Georgians, people around the country to understand that a little bit of rain is going to help us, but it's not going to get us out of this situation. We're going to be dealing with this for quite a while. Also, EPD, the Georgia Environmental Protection Division, issued a level 1 drought declaration for all of Georgia yesterday, so we're dealing with that as well. Our wildfires are already above a 5-year average. I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a few minutes. And again, we are under a temporary burn ban statewide, and the main reason we're doing that is just to make sure that we don't have to go pull off of these big fires and go put out something that started in somebody's yard and got out. It's just a matter of resources, and we'll turn that around and open that back up just as soon as we can get things under control, and Director Sabo can talk about that a little more if he needs to. Also, we have the state of the emergency that I did for the same 91 counties that we have the burn ban in. We've been in continuous communications with President Trump's office, the White House, all of our federal partners, very appreciative to the assets and resources that they have allowed us to get. We just cannot thank them enough, and our federal partners that are on the ground helping us.
You heard the governor talk about all the federal partners and all the help that they've been getting. Ariel, I just want to point you to this truck right behind me. This is from Dawson County. They've made the trip down here to the Pineland Road Fire. And as you can imagine, as all these firefighters, these hundreds of firefighters have been battling these two fires over the past week, they've been working long shifts with minimal rest. So they are appreciative of all of the support they're getting across the state and from across state lines to help get these fires under control, Ariel.
Really a multi-jurisdictional, multi-regional effort there, Ray, and it's wonderful to see so many people working together. So thankful we were able to get some rain here in North Georgia, but based on where I see you and the sun shining, it doesn't look like you're getting some of what we got today. So that's unfortunate, but hopefully there's some rain that can head that way soon.
Yeah, and they talked about this in the press conference today. We heard that there's been a lot of rain in North Georgia. There has not been a single drop of rain here in South Georgia near the Florida state line. And also later in that press conference, officials mentioned kind of like a dust devil effect. That's the best way they could explain it, is that right now there's instability atmosphere where we are that's causing the winds to get down to the ground in a dust devil-like formation. And that's what they are most concerned about, saying that that fire could jump lines if it's not taken care of properly, Ariel.
Ray, thanks so much for the update. I'll let you get back to it, and we'll see you again this evening, keeping us informed there on the Pineland Fire in Clinch County. Ray Urena, thank you so much. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, I want to talk to you guys about a man who's accused of setting 15 fires in DeKalb County. You know, it's one thing when Mother Nature conspires against us, but authorities say this man decided to set fires of his own accord. Let's get out to Fox 5's Annie Mapp. Annie, great to see you. What are DeKalb County officials sharing with us today?
Hey, Eric. Ariel, so we now know the name of that suspect is 37-year-old Wasim Majid. Now, officials here in DeKalb County are saying he committed these crimes between Sunday night and overnight into Monday. Again, as you mentioned, they say he is responsible for at least 15 brush fires that happened near Georgia State University's Clarkston campus. Take a good look at his mugshot that we just got into our newsroom about an hour or so ago. Right now, it's unclear why he decided to set these different fires allegedly, but that's something that officials here in DeKalb County are still working to figure out. Again, they say they were alerted to the first fire just before 8:30 Sunday evening. That fire was along Memorial College Avenue. They then got concerned when they started to see different other fires pop up near Park Lane Drive, Halford Stadium, and also by North Indian Creek Drive. Again, all of these are locations that are within a half-mile radius of that Clarkston campus. Interim Fire Chief Melvin Carter says investigators reviewed surveillance footage and that actually captured the suspect. So that's what initially led them to him. Just take a listen at what he said during an earlier press conference.
In total, investigators estimate an approximate 15 fires were set over a relatively short time frame, all within roughly a half-mile radius of the Georgia State University Clarkston campus.
Yeah, and that suspect is now facing charges that include arson in the third degree. Again, it's unclear why he allegedly decided to do this, but investigators are working to figure that information out. Ariel?
Annie, thanks so much for letting us know where this stands and what police are looking into. I know yesterday we were wanting to learn more information about that man's identity, also trying to get an understanding as to his motive, so hopefully that detail becomes clearer as this moves forward. Annie Mapp, thanks so much for the update. I'll let you get back to information gathering, and we'll see you again this evening. As we continue along here at 2 o'clock, you guys, let's get to some other headlines we're following here in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom. A postal worker who was killed while on the job is now being identified. 40-year-old Tinisha Cade from Atlanta. Really tragic story because police say that a USPS truck crashed with another car in DeKalb County Monday night. Ultimately, they're trying to figure out how this all went down, but preliminary data looks like around 7 or just after 7 o'clock yesterday in the 3700 block of Lakespur Terrace near Iris Lane, police found a 2-vehicle collision between that postal service vehicle and a passenger car. They say that it suggests the passenger car was making a turn then struck the USPS truck, causing it to overturn, ultimately killing that USPS worker inside the car at the scene. They say the USPS confirmed the tragic loss of life of a postal family member and released the following statement saying that their thoughts are with the family, friends, and colleagues during this difficult time. And it sounds like that postal worker was employed at the Decatur Main Post Office. That's where they say they're going to be providing counseling services. So we'll keep you updated as this moves forward, but just a really tragic situation. I also want to let you know we have new video now of a driver accused of hitting cyclists. Incredible to have watched that. I mean, I almost want to replay that again just to give you guys a look. Yeah. Absolutely horrible. So let's get into how this happened, because a 72-year-old man is now facing 6 charges after authorities say he struck 2 cyclists and fled the scene in Cherokee County. Ultimately, Richard Collins was leading a North Georgia Cycling Association group ride last Thursday. He said that's when a driver approached the group from behind and honked excessively for about 2 minutes. According to Collins, the vehicle's side mirror struck the cyclist behind him, then hit Collins, knocking him off his bike. Collins was treated by paramedics at the scene for road rash on his shoulder, elbow, and knee. He later visited an orthopedist who discovered a fracture of his lower spine. Cherokee County officials arrested the driver, 72-year-old Jerry Wayne Ross at a neighbor's house nearby. Ross is facing 6 charges, including hit and run, aggressive driving, and failing to maintain a safe distance from a bicycle. But just a good reminder to share the road. I mean, this is an awful situation. Don't let emotions or road rage get the better of you, police say. Give plenty of space, and if you need to get around, you can do so in a safe way. So just wanted to let you know about this story. Our Denise Dillon was following this last night and giving you the update now. Another story that we're continuing to follow closely, our Angelique Proctor brought this to us yesterday. We're getting more details about a triple shooting that unfolded outside of the Little Bear Food Mart in southeast Atlanta. Police say a 43-year-old woman is dead and 2 others are hurt after that shooting along Jonesboro Road. And it was innocent bystanders who were ultimately caught up in this, which is the real tragedy of it all. Police say 3 people were standing in the parking lot at the Little Bear Food Mart on Jonesboro Road when gunfire erupted. They found a 43-year-old woman who died at the scene, and 2 other victims, a woman and a man who uses a walker, were rushed to Grady Memorial Hospital. They are expected to survive, but police at this point believe that a dispute broke out between groups over some kind of disrespect. While the groups were fighting, someone began spraying bullets, hitting 3 people who were just standing in the parking lot, that woman and the 2 other people who were hurt. Now, all 3 victims were in their mid to late 40s, according to police, and were innocent bystanders, like I mentioned. So just a really tragic situation. At this point, we're not sure of the identity of the woman who died, nor the identity of the victims who were taken to the hospital. Police haven't released that to us just yet, but as soon as we get more information, we'll let you know what unfolded further and what their identities are. Also, this is a pretty wild story. We have some crazy stories to talk about here on your Tuesday afternoon, because I feel like this is the beginning of a Netflix special or something. Check this out. A man is now charged after attacking allegedly a house cleaner. A 23-year-old man faces multiple felony charges after police say he used a screwdriver to assault and hold a house cleaner captive for hours in an apartment in Canton. Ultimately, that house cleaner is recovering from her brutal assault that happened April 6th. Apparently, she arrived at a new client's home for a cleaning walkthrough. And she's identified by her friends as Tara. She's from Cherokee County. And that's when she was held captive by a man inside that apartment with a screwdriver. According to her friend, Christian Boyd, she says that Tara went to that house to do went to that apartment to do a walkthrough for a potential new client when the man suddenly started to attack her. She sustained multiple stab wounds, including injuries to her head and eye. She eventually convinced the man to let her go to the hospital by promising to tell medical staff that she fell while cleaning. Boyd stated, her friend, Christian Boyd, stated that Tara drove herself to the hospital despite her injuries and bleeding. Once she got there to the hospital, she reported the true nature of the attack to medical staff. Canton police subsequently arrested 23-year-old Ezekiel Jackson. He's currently facing 3 counts of rape, aggravated battery, false imprisonment, and aggravated assault charges. Just awful. Now, at this point, Tara was in the ICU for days and has had to return to the hospital several times since that attack in early April. It's not clear how long her recovery is going to take. So at this point, her friend is raising support for her through GoFundMe. You can see that there on your screen. She is a mother of 4 and is currently unable to work or care for her children. So if you feel called to donate, that information is on fox5atlanta.com. Let's talk about some national stories that we're following here in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom today. King Charles III is in Washington, D.C., and he is set to address Congress today around 3 o'clock. And you're witnessing an official state welcome for the King and Queen Camilla at the White House. The hope is this visit from the King and Queen will emphasize the special relationship between the United States and the United Kingdom that has been shared for the past 250 years and ease some of the recent rising tensions over trade. The visit comes at a crucial time because President Trump's tariffs have strained relations between Great Britain and the United States, as well as the war with Iran and Trump's desire to break away from NATO. Following his time at the White House, King Charles is going to make his way over to Capitol Hill. He's going to address Congress around 3 o'clock, and he'll become only the 2nd British monarch to do so. He follows in the footsteps of his mother, Queen Elizabeth, back in 1991. The King is expected to highlight the country's shared democratic values and commemorate the 250th anniversary of U.S. independence independence over Britain. Kind of ironic, right? Later tonight, the King and Queen are going to return to the White House for a formal state dinner. And of course, we will keep you updated through all of this. I'd like to let you take a listen to what President Trump said in front of the White House as they hosted the King and Queen earlier this morning.
Here in the shadows of monuments to George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, honoring the British King might seem an ironic beginning to our celebration of 250 years of American independence, but in fact, no tribute could be more appropriate. Long before Americans had a nation or a constitution, we first had a culture, a character, and a creed. Before we ever proclaimed our independence, Americans carried within us the rarest of gifts, moral courage, and it came from a small but mighty kingdom from across the sea. For nearly 2 centuries before the Revolution, this land was settled and forged by men, women who bore in their souls the blood and noble spirit of the British. Here on a wild and untamed continent, they set loose the ancient English love of liberty and the Great Britain's distinctive sense of glory, destiny, and pride. And that's what it is, glory, destiny, and pride. The American patriots who pledged their lives to independence in 1776 were the heirs to this majestic inheritance. Their veins ran with Anglo-Saxon courage. Their hearts beat with an English faith in standing firm for what is right, good, and true.
So you're listening as the President addressed King and Queen, King Charles, Queen Camilla on White House grounds this morning ahead of the King's address to Congress later this afternoon. I want to talk to you about something that's also unfolding within the British government because the fallout from the Epstein files continues, and some lawmakers on Capitol Hill, like Congresswoman Ro Khanna, want to speak to King Charles about the royal family's ties to Epstein, specifically the King's brother, former Prince Andrew. Now, House Speaker Mike Johnson has said that won't happen. Lawmakers will not be able to ask the King about Jeffrey Epstein. But across the pond, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer's former chief of staff says he made a serious mistake by recommending Peter Mandelson for the UK ambassador to the United States position. Morgan McSweeney, the man you see here on your screen testifying, spoke before lawmakers in Great Britain before the House of Commons Foreign Affairs Committee. He explained, making a quote, a serious error of judgment, and says he takes responsibility for his role in elevating the former friend of Jeffrey Epstein to the post that he ultimately received, the ambassador's post. Take a listen to what he had to say.
I resigned because I believe responsibility should rest with those who make serious mistakes. Accountability in public life cannot apply only when it is convenient. The Prime Minister relied on my advice, and I got it wrong. It is also important, however, to distinguish between what I did do and what I did not do. What I did do was make a recommendation based on my judgment that Mandelson's experience, relationships and political skills could serve the national interest in Washington at an important moment. That judgment was a mistake. What I did not do was oversee national security vetting, ask officials to ignore procedures, request that steps should be skipped, or communicate explicitly or implicitly that checks should be cleared at all costs. I would never have considered that acceptable. These processes are in place to protect our national security.
Okay, so you were listening in as Morgan McSweeney testified there before British lawmakers. And in case you're wondering, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer fired Peter Mandelson back in September of last year. Police started an investigation into him February of this year. And we've been talking about this a lot here on Fox Local if you've been rocking with us since the start of this year, because police started to investigate Peter Mandelson, former ambassador, British ambassador here to the United States, back in February over accusations that he offered sensitive government documents and information to Jeffrey Epstein while he worked in the UK government back in 2009. So this is something we'll keep you updated on as the calls for greater investigations here on domestic soil as a result from the Epstein files continues. But in the meantime, coming up next, we are going to get a check of your local weather forecast. I mentioned at the top here of the 2 o'clock hour that there's a potential for more substantial rain and a potential severe weather threat overnight. We're going to check in with Alex Forbes on that straight ahead. Welcome back in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here at 2 o'clock. Let's check in with meteorologist Alex Forbes because, as many of you know, we had some rain this morning here in North Georgia, and now there's a potential for more substantial rain tonight, which we desperately need. But this could also bring a severe weather threat. Let's check in with Alex.
Monitoring severe weather out to the west here through the afternoon, and some of that finds its way in towards northern Georgia by the time we get into the evening hours tonight. Look at this, back into Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, a level 3 risk in place out there. Parts of northwest Georgia clipped by a level 2 with a level 1 coming as far east as metro Atlanta. Now, I'm not looking for necessarily a crazy line of storms. I think this does a good job showing the weakening trend, but still nonetheless likely a loud evening into the overnight hours tonight across metro Atlanta and North Georgia. So our rain chance for the remainder of the day at 90%, particularly as we get into the overnight hours, 80% for tomorrow morning. And then notice we stay unsettled there on Thursday and Friday before we see another system on the horizon by the time we get towards Saturday. So this is good news, right? We're wanting to get into this active pattern to put a dent in the drought situation. Let's time it out hour by hour this evening, 11, 12, 1, 2. This is going to be your line of storms here from Blairsville down towards Canton and Carrollton. That's going to continue to push into metro Atlanta. Notice how it gets that arcing feature to it, indicative of maybe some strong straight line winds. As this line comes through, there is also the low-end risk of a brief spin-up tornado. Nothing that is going to be strong, but still a 95-mile-an-hour tornado can be impactful, and that would be the type of thing that we'd be looking at into the evening tonight if we're able to get the ingredients coming together. So I want you to have a way to receive weather alerts here through the overnight hours. Getting into tomorrow morning, looking at some scattered showers hanging around, kind of like this morning after that main line came through before we clear out for the afternoon. Now, it doesn't look like our next system will be on the horizon until we get towards Saturday, at least in terms of an organized system. A 60% chance for morning showers and storms there before we get to Sunday and clear out. Really, Saturday afternoon, we're going to clear out across the metro area. So that's what we've got on the docket, at least for the weekend. And as we look at this, compared to the drought situation we've had across northern Georgia, that's good news. Here's how it shapes up on the computer forecast model. This is one of our lower resolution but but longer range models. You see widespread rain and maybe some storms across the area Saturday morning. Its counterpart, the GFS, I just showed you the European. This is the GFS, has something very similar. So I would expect a wet Saturday morning. Any early T-ball games will be wet. Into the afternoon, not so much. And again, great news considering the drought situation that we're in. Exceptional drought, obviously still down to the south where the wildfires are burning, but we have extreme drought in metro Atlanta and across North Georgia in many locations. All right, speaking of that, how much rain do we need to put an end to all of this? These are new numbers as of yesterday. If we got 14 inches in a month, that would do it. But that would not be good news, because if we got 14 inches of rain in a month, we would definitely be contending with flooding. I think the thing that's most reasonable is if over the next 3 months we get 20 inches of rain, or in other words, about 1 3/4 inches each week, then that would put us in good shape. I don't think that's necessarily on the horizon, but I do think we're trending in the right direction. Speaking of which, the wildfires down to the south, quick update for you. The Brantley County fire up to 22,000 acres. That's just over 30 square miles, about 1,000 people impacted there. Meanwhile, over in Clinch and Eccles County, this one's now up to 32,000 acres, 569. The containment on this one is up, though, so that's good news. 23% contained. Hopefully, we will trend in the right direction there, and that weekend rain will help out as well. Only 180-degree temperature on the 7-day. That's tomorrow afternoon, 73 on Thursday, 68 on Friday. So it's been a while since I've said this. Seasonably cool into the weekend with more chances for rain on Saturday, particularly during the morning hours, clearing out for the afternoon.
All right, Alex, thanks so much for letting us know what to expect. We're definitely going to keep our Storm Team app handy this evening as that rain and potential for severe weather rolls through this evening. Guys, let's talk about some stories we're following here at Fox 5 Atlanta today. So this involves that suspect involved in the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, or rather in the floor above it. At this point, investigators are combing through that suspect's belongings. And what we know so far is that at this point, that suspect could spend the rest of his life in prison after being charged with an attempt to assassinate the president. Investigators are trying to figure out further clues that could shed light as to the behavior and mindset of 31-year-old Cole Allen. He's facing 3 criminal charges, including attempting to assassinate the president of the United States, transporting a firearm across state lines, and discharging a firearm during a crime of violence. More charges could also be coming. Prosecutors say they have a solid case against him. And ultimately, investigators believe Allen sent an email to family just before the attack, calling himself, quote, a friendly federal assassin. They say he then planned the attack for weeks and booked a room at the dinner's venue, the Washington Hilton, on April 6th. And White House official tells Fox News Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, or rather, a White House official tells Fox News that Chief of Staff Susie Wiles convened a meeting Monday to review security protocols for the president. There have been a lot of questions as to how tight was security at the White House Correspondents' Dinner? How was the suspect able to make it as far to that checkpoint as he did? Now, granted, he never made it into the actual room with the president, and this happened in the floor above, but still there are questions. The administration is calling for lawmakers to lower political rhetoric. One thing that Caroline Leavitt had said is that she had pointed out Representative Hakeem Jeffries, saying that he was one who had used some rhetoric that could incite violence. But Democrats have pushed back. Hakeem Jeffries saying that he stands by it and he could be criticized for it, but that doesn't matter to him. Now, Cole Allen at this point is behind bars, and a detention hearing is set for this Thursday. We will keep you updated as that detention hearing moves forward. I also want to let you know that Iran is facing a growing shortage as to where to store its oil. The United States has been tightening its blockade in the Strait of Hormuz. And since the start of the blockade, Iran's crude oil shipments have dropped from almost 2 million barrels a day to just over 500,000. A new analysis by Kepler shows the country will run out of oil storage in 12 to 22 days, forcing a further production cut. It could have a major economic impact on Iran, but it's not clear if that's going to be enough to move peace talks forward. Those talks are still stalled. One White House official says that that the president doesn't believe Iran is negotiating in good faith, while the Iranians continue to blame the United States. The Iranians continue to blame the United States, and some administration officials are now asking European allies to pivot their oil supplies away from the Middle East. A few of those allies are starting to openly question what the president's endgame is going to look like, and a Kepler analysis predicts that Iran's going to start to see financial pressure from the U.S. blockade on its oil in about 3 to 4 months. So the idea that it could take 3 to 4 months for Iran truly to feel this pressure is an indication potentially of how much longer the war could last, unless there's some other lever that the Trump administration decides to pull that could force a deal. So this is something we'll continue to keep our eyes on as we all feel the effects of this. One thing I want to keep you guys updated on is a situation unfolding today. This is a trial, and it's being called the AI trial of the century, and it's Elon Musk versus Sam Altman of OpenAI. A court case in California is seeing these two tech CEOs basically square off. Let's get into more on the case and what it could mean for the future of artificial intelligence, because we've learned that Elon Musk has just made it into that courtroom, and this is a very high-profile trial. Elon Musk, the head of Tesla and SpaceX, is suing Sam Altman, alleging that he was duped as one of OpenAI's original co-founders. Now that Altman has transformed the entity from a nonprofit into a for-profit company. The high-profile feud has culminated in a federal trial expected to last 2 to 3 weeks. Jury selection started this morning, and attorneys from both sides could be seen entering that courthouse. Inside, Altman himself made an unexpected appearance inside the courtroom, and we know that Elon Musk has been there as well. OpenAI has denied Musk's allegations, and keep in mind this case will carry sizable stakes for OpenAI, which is expected to go public later this year. If Musk wins, it could radically alter the structure of one of the world's top artificial intelligence companies, with ripple effects to the entire industry overall. Opening arguments are expected today as well, so we will keep you updated as this progresses forward. In the meantime, we want to check in a little closer to home as to some legislation that Atlanta City Council is weighing regarding the future of ICE facilities here. We'll get to that coming up. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstad. Thanks so much for being here at 2 o'clock. We've seen a lot of communities here locally in North Georgia weigh how they should respond to ICE detention facilities coming to our communities. It's been a big point of debate in Social Circle, Georgia. And here in Atlanta, Atlanta City Council members are trying to figure out how to address the potential future of ICE detention facilities and what rules should govern them as they come to our state and potentially our city. Angelique Proctor explains.
This is a unified message from Atlanta City Council. Both of these resolutions passed unanimously on the consent agenda, so the Atlanta City Council is definitely speaking in one voice here. Now, the first resolution opposes converting large industrial warehouses into ICE detention centers, like we've seen in Social Circle and Oakwood. It also asks that no municipal resources or property be used to facilitate an immigration detention center. The second resolution deals with asking Atlanta police to record all interactions between ICE and anyone in the city of Atlanta. Now, Councilmember Antonio Lewis says this surveillance resolution was patterned after a similar measure in Chicago.
If ICE is going to be in Atlanta, moving around, I just want to make sure our police are doing what the police in Chicago are doing, what the police in California are doing. That's just capturing the stuff, and they'll be able to save it for 3 years to after this administration. And we've seen people die at the hand of ICE. Anything that happens in the city of Atlanta with ICE, if our APD is there, they should be able to capture it with this nice, amazing equipment.
Now, Lewis says several people in his district contacted him about ICE and were concerned about their safety after seeing ICE arresting people in Minneapolis, Chicago, and several other cities. Now, Lewis says the goal of these resolutions is to protect people who are here in Atlanta and, of course, our World Cup visitors that will be coming this summer.
The people have reached out to us about this. I'm looking across the country, and to see what they're doing. This is every major city in the country that has the World Cup coming to it has already started protecting themselves. I want to make sure that our taxi drivers are okay because they've reached out to me about this. I want to make sure that my South Atlanta High School has the highest Latino population in APS. So I want to make sure my constituency in District 12 are okay. To see that the president, who's been nothing but aggressive towards Fulton County and Atlanta, we don't think that he has good things in store for us because he said it. He called our city piss poor when he was speaking of our late, great Congressman John Lewis. When he speaks of the things that he does here, I don't think he feels, according to how he's moved, I don't think he's moved with the best intentions for the people of Atlanta.
Now, keep in mind, these are resolutions, so they are not binding. They do go to the mayor's desk. We are trying to find out if the mayor plans to sign them or veto them. Right now, we are still waiting to hear from the mayor's office.
All right, Angelique, thanks so much for keeping us updated as to what Atlanta City Council is considering as we continue here at 2 o'clock. Coming up next, we're going to check in with our Maria Guzman about a medical career fair and why this is so significant. New data from the Georgia Department of Labor show that the healthcare industry is actually driving much of the job growth here in our state. In Atlanta, the healthcare field is booming. So we're going to talk to her about this straight ahead. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here. Let's go out to Phipps Plaza. Something beautiful is underway, and I have to say I'm really jealous of Chris Rosenthal for this assignment. Phipps Plaza has been transformed into, I don't know, Chris, I would describe this as like a garden of haute couture, maybe?
That's a very good way to put it. I think they've used similar terms here, a garden of couture for sure. Yeah, they have. This is just one of the creations here, the floral creations behind me. One of about 12 of them that you'll see across Phipps Plaza here. This is officially starts tomorrow, but and goes on through Sunday. But these floral designers have been working all day today. Setting up these beautiful floral creations here. You know, all real flowers, not fake flowers at all. So, you know, here for anybody coming out shopping can come look at some of these beautiful designs. Here's another one here by Ebony Benson Designs. This beautiful work of work of floral art. Again, this is all real art. You can come look at this again. Starting even today, it's all here. They're putting the finishing touches on. It smells very floral here. I've been here all day, and the smells are wonderful. The sights are wonderful, and I actually have Ebony Benson here. She is one of the artists. You have three projects here on display, huh?
Yes, this year is my second year in this show. It's an amazing show. We have an install over at Lenox to drive people over here to Phipps, and we have 2 inside of Phipps this year.
And this is one of them here. Tell me a little bit about this one.
Yes, this is the second install. She is inspired by the African Orisha Oshun, the Orisha of fertility, of love, of beauty, of nature, and that's how we wanted it to feel. Like, we wanted it to feel extremely bright, extremely inviting, and just make people smile when they see it.
Yeah, I'm definitely smiling and loving this. I mean, these oranges are really cool. I mean, these are real dried oranges.
These are real dehydrated orange slices. They have been really fun to work with. We just wanted to add some detail that people haven't seen in some shows, and the orange slices just really made her outfit just kind of come out. And with the theme being spring florals and couture, we definitely think we brought a little haute couture to the flower show this year.
Yeah, and this is again the Flora flower show put on by Fleur Deville, and I was talking with them earlier today from Fleur Deville, and they were saying, this is like perishable art. You got to keep this thing alive and going for about a week. There's some challenges in that?
Absolutely, we are required to come each day and refresh. You can kind of feel it's already a little warm inside of the mall, and there's not a lot of sun out, but once the sun comes out, it gets kind of warm in here. So to come in and freshen up the flowers each day, just so when the customers come in and get to view, everything still looks the way it looks when we installed it.
You've done this is the third year here. You've done this before. I mean, what's it like to have people come by and look at your creations here?
It is one of the best feelings in the world and I like to creep. I like to stand off and watch people as they come by and view what we put together, and watching them smile, watching them take pictures of it just fills our heart, because that's what we do it for. Whether it's a flower show, whether it's a wedding, whether it's a party, that is the exact feeling that we want people to feel.
You had people come by today asking you questions?
We did. The first question, what is this? What is this for? And we give them we talk a little bit about it, but most of the time we're like talking as we're plugging in flowers. So yeah, people seem to really enjoy this show, and we do too as florists.
Yeah, and you guys are putting on some of the finishing touches over here, I see.
Absolutely. We're trying to get the back end covered, make sure there's no holes that you can see before we leave. Corey is amazing. She has been over here helping me, as well as Kay and Christina. They're working on the third install over at the exit near Nobu.
Awesome. Well, this is just one of about a dozen or so here, beautiful installations. I mean, we got people. She's even stopping by, taking a look here. So, already catching people's attention here. Again, this goes on through Sunday, and you can come by on Saturday, and there's going to be a floral pop-up market, and you can also vote on
what your favorite installation is, and there are some pretty nice prizes that come from that if you'll be entered into a drawing for that. So, but again, I mean, this is all free. It's sort of like a beautiful floral art museum at the mall here at Phipps.
I love it, Chris. It's beautiful and wonderful to see these artists put together their creations with such pride and effort. I am with you. The oranges are fantastic. Just her use of textures to create the dress. And I understand, of course, there are other installations there throughout the mall, and I'm sure you'll be checking in and showing us here upcoming at 3 o'clock. But if someone wants to see this, floral demonstrations, pop-up flower market Saturday from 11 to 4, like you mentioned, and then the annual Kentucky Derby Party. Phipps Plaza hosts that on the green from 5 to 7 Saturday. So quite a few little things to get into if you want to this weekend. Chris Rosenthal, thank you so much. I'll see you here upcoming at 3. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, you guys, let's talk about something that I mentioned earlier, which is latest numbers from the Georgia Department of Labor show Georgia's unemployment rate is just over 3.5%. It shows healthcare is really driving a lot of the growth here in Atlanta. I feel like some of you here in our TikTok chat are talking a little bit about, and some of our other chats we have here live, talking a little bit about how you feel like maybe our food supply or the unhealthy way that Americans eat is leading to this healthcare boon. Could be. So on Tuesday, today, about 300 students and recent graduates from South College of Atlanta got to meet with local employers in the medical industry and the medical field to get a sense as to future career opportunities. So I'd like to let you listen to one of the nursing students. Our Maria Guzman was able to speak with them. This is unfolding today at the South College Atlanta, and she was able to speak with Thomas Oglesby. So let's take a listen.
What got you so interested in going to the nursing field here?
Really just having a background already in like fitness and health, and like having a passion for health and fitness, and working in healthcare for a little while and seeing, getting to see it up close, but also seeing some family members as well that work in the health field as well. So it all kind of came together for me.
Yeah, as someone who is going to graduate soon and enter the job market, what are some barriers or maybe some challenges that you see that you're working through? If that's like on how to get the best resume or the interview process, what are some challenges or barriers?
Yeah, I would say one of the biggest challenges would be like the transition, from school to working, just being able to transition those skills, going from the classroom to actual patient care would be the biggest challenge I'm thinking.
Yeah, and how is South College helping you to make sure that you land a good job right after you're here and that you're able to enter the workforce?
South College is helping by giving us the resources, the contacts, allowing us to network, giving us great clinical sites, and being able to be, in the field around other employees and recruiters and managers to be able to network, and as well as events like this today.
Yeah, and why take time from your day? I know you probably have classes and assignments to do, but why take the time to come here this morning, chat with recruiters, wear that suit and tie? Why take so much just planning to come here today?
Well, once I saw the email, they sent us out the email, and it was so many different companies and hospitals and opportunities here. So it's a great opportunity to network and meet, and so I just didn't want to pass that up.
So Thomas, you can hear trying to get a little opportunities going his way there at the Medical Career Fair, and he didn't want to pass them up. He feels like his experience in fitness and health primed him to be a good candidate, and what better person to do it. So I think we're all really interested in health and wellness these days, longevity, how we can better support others in our own health and live a long and healthy life. So good to see that underway. Maria, thanks so much for bringing that to us. Our Maria Guzman brought that, sent that back in, so we were able to get it to you guys. We're going to see more from her upcoming coming at 3 o'clock. But as we look ahead here at 2 o'clock, we have about a little bit of time for a couple more stories before we transition. And one thing I'd like to let you see here live unfolding on Capitol Hill as of right now is the Vice President and Speaker of the House standing as they wait for the address from King Charles to Congress today. You can see them standing there on the dais, and they're getting ready for the King to present his speech. Now, this will be the second British monarch to address America's lawmakers in this way. Ultimately, the only other monarch to have done that before, British monarch, was Queen Elizabeth back in 1991. So at 3 o'clock, we hope to have more as the King comes out to address us on these issues, and we'll keep you updated as we expect him to touch on President Trump's tariffs as well as the war with Iran. Relations between Great Britain and the United States have been strained as of lately, and this visit really seems to be a bit of a soft diplomacy type approach between the King and President Trump. So more to come on this here upcoming at 3 o'clock. I'm Ariel Onstead. You guys, thanks so much for being here with us live. We'll see you back here in just a little bit.
done a great job taking advantage of a good weather day yesterday, and the team here was telling us that they had a good day on the ground yesterday, and I believe that they will today. Despite the little bit of rain that we're getting, and we're getting some in North Georgia today, thank goodness, we're still in the worst drought that we've seen in 20 years. So I want people, our fellow Georgians, people around the country to understand that a little bit of rain is going to help us, but it's not going to get us out of this situation, and we're going to be dealing with this for quite a while. Also, EPD, the Georgia Environmental Protection Division, issued a level 1 drought declaration for all of Georgia yesterday, so we're dealing with that as well. Our wildfires are already above a 5-year average. I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a few minutes. And again, we are under a temporary burn ban statewide, and the main reason we're doing that is just to make sure that we don't have to go pull off of these big fires and go put out something that started in somebody's yard and got out. It's just a matter of resources, and we'll turn that around and open that back up just as soon as we can get things under control, and Director Sabo can talk about that a little more if he needs to. Also, we have the state of the emergency that I did for the same 91 counties that we have the burn ban in. We've been in continuous communications with President Trump's office, the White House, all of our federal partners, very appreciative to the assets and resources that they have allowed us to get. We just cannot thank them enough, and our federal partners that are on the ground helping us. Also, the Georgia Guard and General Wilson have talked a little bit about this with air assets starting to transition now to some more on-the-ground assets like tractors. And this is really just the local teams telling us what they need and us pivoting to be able to do that. And General Wilson will talk a little bit more about that. Also, just wanted to thank, there's a lot of other states that are sending us assets, reaching out, offering to help. We've got equipment coming from Texas, Mississippi. The team here mentioned Colorado and Idaho, so we're thankful for that, and I'm sure there's many more. Just want to thank the local EMA folks too for what they're doing to help coordinate, and obviously the fire management incident team that's doing a great job down here. Just shifting to the Highway 82 fire, as of right now, and these numbers are a little bit fluid, but we've had 82 homes that have been lost. We still have 17 more to assess. Some of these we can't really tell if it's an outbuilding or somebody's house, and we're working on that now. 4 commercial structures that were lost. And I'll just tell you, as Marty and I were on the ground, when you talk to the Forestry Commission employees and the local firefighters, whether they're full-time volunteers, it is heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking for them when they can't save that house. And you know, we've seen it in their eyes, in their heart, and but I'll tell you, they're doing everything they can to try to save these homes. And I thought today when we were flying the 82 fire before we got here, we saw some of those homes Friday and Sunday when we were on the ground there. We saw some more from the air today. But also thought to myself, there was a lot of homes that literally the edge of the fire had burned up into their yards, and then those firefighters stopped that fire and saved those homes. And that's what they're focusing on every single day. And there's literally hundreds of them that are right next to the fire line. So as much devastation has come for these families, and as heartbreaking as that is, and our thoughts and prayers are certainly with them. We are so thankful for these brave people that have been working countless hours to save the homes that they have. And I just want to thank them from the bottom of my heart.
So you're listening in as Governor Kemp addresses some of the fire damage he saw in the southern part of our state, current efforts to combat those fires from firefighters in other counties and first responders. I want to talk to you about the big fire in South Georgia. And the governor was touching on this just a little bit, but it is the most destructive in state history. And at this point, we're speaking about the Highway 82 fire, which the governor was touring. The Highway 82 fire in Brantley County has seen dozens of homes destroyed, and you're taking a look at just some of that devastation. We've seen blackened trees and smoke emerging from the ground, and ultimately they believe this fire started April 20th. It has torched more than 35 square miles. Heavy rain slowed the progress and helped crews contain the fires, but it did not completely put them out. People who live in a neighborhood under evacuation have been helping to collect supply donations, including pet food, and they praise the efforts of the community members and firefighters for their responsiveness. Let's listen to some of that conversation.
Got a lot of donations for pet food and things like that, so that way we can get that spread out amongst everybody who needs it back here for the community. Just because nobody had anything, really stored up, we weren't expecting this. The firefighters they've been doing the best that they can.
Everybody involved has done an amazing job,
yeah,
honestly.
It's hard, with having this many leaders dealing with so many people that they're directing to help out.
So the police believe the Highway 82 fire, or fire officials believe the Highway 82 fire was likely caused by a balloon hitting power lines, and that's what sparked all of the devastation that we've been seeing. I also want to tell you about an accidental fire that started this morning because of a lightning strike. This is pretty incredible. Check it out. Just incredible. You can see fire burning behind that home there, and it was burning a detached garage. We had a stormy start to our day here in North Georgia, and that actually led to a house fire when lightning struck a detached garage. Firefighters responded to this blaze on Highway 29 after getting 911 calls. That fire fully going in the garage when firefighters got there, but they were able to put that fire out without affecting any other homes. And ultimately, the fire's been ruled accidental, according to the fire department. So, incredible video. Or one of our viewers sent this to us. So, big shout out to Bradley Stevens for letting us have a look up close as to what happened behind this home. I also want to let you know about a fire that was not accidental, according to police. You're taking a look at some grass fires in DeKalb County near Clarkston, where police say that a man set 15 fires there, and ultimately we're not sure what his motive was or how this happened in terms of what the reasoning was to set these fires, but he is now facing arson charges. Take a listen to the acting police chief of the DeKalb Fire Department as they talked about this in a news conference this morning.
On April 26th at approximately 10:49 p.m., DeKalb County Fire Rescue responded to reports of woods fires in the area of Memorial College Avenue. Engine 23 was the first initial responding unit and arrived to find an approximately 20 by 20 foot brush fire, which was quickly brought under control. While crews were operating on that scene, they were alerted to additional fires in the surrounding areas, including near Hartford Stadium and along Park Lane Drive. As Engine 23 began their investigation, multiple new fires also were reported in rapid succession, indicating a developing situation in the concentrated area. Battalion 5 responded to establish command, directing all incoming units to stage at Hartford Stadium parking lot and assigning crews to multiple locations. Firefighters worked continuously throughout the night to locate, contain, and extinguish numerous brush fires and woods fires as they emerged across the same general area. In total, the response included 6 engine companies, each staffed with 3 firefighters, 1 battalion chief, and 2 fire investigators. This staffing allowed us to simultaneously locate, contain, and extinguish multiple fires across the area in a very coordinated manner. This pattern of fires continued for several hours until approximately 4:30 a.m. the next day. One of the more significant incidents occurred at 827 North Indian Creek.
So you're listening in as the DeKalb Fire Chief addresses us regarding the arson that they say happened in DeKalb County. Ultimately, they believe a man set 15 fires there, and they were able to contain them mostly without too much damage. But this is a really severe situation because of the drought that we are seeing. The fact that these were not accidental fires, but believed to have been set intentionally is concerning. No one was heard, but firefighters did battle dry and windy weather, and they also responded to several locations, including areas near Georgia State University. Ultimately, they are working to figure out more of a motive in this situation, and we'll keep you updated as this progresses forward. But I do want to let you know that this person is facing third-degree arson charges, and this is likely going to be a legal situation in which more charges could be coming as they continue to take a look. Wasim Majid is the man believed to have started the fires. I want to make sure I was able to give you his name. But some of you here, TikTok, following along, asking if there's another rain front coming, and you would be correct. So this morning we did see some rain here in North Georgia, which is definitely helpful for the drought that we are facing. While we definitely need many more inches of rain to put a dent in the drought we're experiencing, there is a potential for more substantial rain tonight. It's also bringing the potential for severe weather. So let's get out to meteorologist Alex Forbes for a look at what to expect.
Monitoring severe weather out to the west here through the afternoon, and some of that finds its way in towards northern Georgia by the time we get into the evening hours tonight. Look at this, back into Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, a level 3 risk in place out there. Parts of northwest Georgia clipped by a level 2 with a level 1 coming as far east as metro Atlanta. Now, I'm not looking for necessarily a crazy line of storms. I think this does a good job showing the weakening trend, but still nonetheless likely a loud evening into the overnight hours tonight across metro Atlanta and North Georgia. So our rain chance for the remainder of the day at 90%, particularly as we get into the overnight hours, 80% for tomorrow morning. And then notice we stay unsettled there on Thursday and Friday before we see another system on the horizon by the time we get towards Saturday. So this is good news, right? We're wanting to get into this active pattern to put a dent in the drought situation. Let's time it out hour by hour this evening, 11, 12, 1, 2. This is going to be your line of storms here from Blairsville down towards Canton and Carrollton. That's going to continue to push into metro Atlanta. Notice how it gets that arcing feature to it, indicative of maybe some strong straight line winds. As this line comes through, there is also the low end risk of a brief spin up tornado. Nothing that is going to be strong, but still a 95-mile-an-hour tornado can be impactful, and that's would be the type of thing that we'd be looking at into the evening tonight if we're able to get the ingredients coming together. So I want you to have a way to receive weather alerts here through the overnight hours. Getting into tomorrow morning, looking at some scattered showers hanging around, kind of like this morning after that main line came through before we clear out for the afternoon. Now, it doesn't look like our next system will be on the horizon until we get towards Saturday, at least in terms of an organized system. A 60% chance for morning showers and storms there before we get to Sunday and clear out. Really, Saturday afternoon, we're going to clear out across the metro area. So that's what we've got on the docket, at least for the weekend. And as we look at this, compared to the drought situation we've had across northern Georgia, that's good news. Here's how it shapes up on the computer forecast model. This is one of our lower resolution but longer range models. You see widespread rain and maybe some storms across the area Saturday morning. Its counterpart, the GFS, I just showed you the European. This is the GFS, has something very similar. So I would expect a wet Saturday morning. Any early T-ball games will be wet. Into the afternoon, not so much. And again, great news considering the drought situation that we're in. Exceptional drought, obviously still down to the south where the wildfires are burning, but we have extreme drought in metro Atlanta and across North Georgia in many locations. All right, speaking of that, how much rain do we need to put an end to all of this? These are new numbers as of yesterday. If we got 14 inches in a month, that would do it. But that would not be good news, because if we got 14 inches of rain in a month, we would definitely be contending with flooding. I think the thing that's most reasonable is if over the next 3 months we get 20 inches of rain, or in other words, about 1 3/4 inches each week, then that would put us in good shape. I don't think that's necessarily on the horizon, but I do think we're trending in the right direction. Speaking of which, the wildfires down to the south, quick update for you. The Pineland County fire up to 22,000 acres. That's just over 30 square miles, about 1,000 people impacted there. Meanwhile, over in Clinch and Eccles County, this one's now up to 32,000 acres, 569. The containment on this one is up, though, so that's good news. 23% contained. Hopefully, we will trend in the right direction there, and that weekend rain will help out as well. Only 1 to 80-degree temperature on the 7-day. That's tomorrow afternoon, 73 on Thursday, 68 on Friday. So it's been a while since I've said this. Seasonably cool into the weekend with more chances for rain on Saturday, particularly during the morning hours, clearing out for the afternoon.
All right, Alex, thanks so much for keeping us updated on what to expect. Definitely going to have my Fox 5 Storm Team app handy in case of severe weather. Let's get to some other headlines we're following here at Fox 5 Atlanta. This is a really sad situation because a United States postal worker who was killed in a car crash is now being identified as 40-year-old Tinisha Cade from Atlanta. Ultimately, police in DeKalb are investigating this deadly crash. It happened Monday night, and they believe it happened just after 7 o'clock in the 3700 block of Larkspur Terrace near Iris Lane. On arrival, police officers found a two-vehicle collision between a passenger vehicle and that postal service van. The preliminary investigation so far shows that the car was making a turn from Iris into Larkspur when it struck the postal worker's vehicle, causing it to flip. The driver of the postal truck died of their injuries at the scene. The U.S. Postal Service confirmed the loss of a postal family member and released a statement saying that their thoughts are with the family, friends, and colleagues of this worker at this difficult time. And further, they're going to be offering counseling services to their employees at the Decatur main post office as the investigation continues. So really sad situation. We'll keep you updated as any further details are released. I also want to let you know about this wild story because ultimately a 72-year-old man is now facing charges. Wow, that video just incredible to watch. Ultimately, a 72-year-old man is in jail in Cherokee County after police say he struck two cyclists with his vehicle and took off from the scene. Richard Collins was leading a cycling group. You can see the video there, a North Georgia Cycling Association group ride Thursday, and he says the driver approached the group from behind and honked excessively for about 2 minutes. According to Collins, the vehicle's side mirror struck the cyclist behind him and then hit Collins, knocking him off his bike. He was treated by paramedics at the scene for road rash on his shoulder, elbow, and knee, and later visited a doctor who discovered a fracture of his lower spine. Cherokee County Sheriff's officials arrested the driver, Jerry Wayne Ross, 72 years old, at a neighbor's house nearby. Ross faces 6 charges, including hit and run, aggressive driving, and failing to maintain a safe distance from a bicycle. So that is remarkable that they were able to capture video in that situation to show exactly what happened. As we continue, let's talk about this really heartbreaking situation. Angelique Proctor was able to talk to us yesterday about this, and now we're getting a better understanding as to what happened at this triple shooting at the Little Bear Food Mart. 3 bystanders were involved and caught up in this triple shooting that all started with an argument. Ultimately, a 43-year-old woman is dead and 2 others are hurt. Police say that a 43-year-old woman who was killed and 2 others were in the parking lot of the Little Bear Food Mart along Jonesboro Road in southeast Atlanta. Police say that further, violence erupted just after noon Monday when they believe a dispute broke out between groups over, quote, some kind of disrespect. And while the groups were fighting, someone started spraying bullets, hitting 3 people who were just innocent bystanders standing there in the parking lot. All 3 bystanders are in their mid to late 40s. Like I mentioned, that 43-year-old woman died at the scene, and 2 other victims were taken to Grady and are expected to be okay. But we'll keep you updated as this progresses forward. Police release any persons of interest. If they need your help, we'll let you know so that way you can see if you are able to identify them. And finally, this story sounds like it should be straight out of a Netflix special. There's really no other way to talk about this. Very, very scary situation. A house cleaner went to a house that she thought was a potential client. This happened back on April 6th, and then found herself in a very traumatic and scary situation. A 23-year-old man's now facing multiple felony charges after police say he used a screwdriver to assault and hold a house cleaner captive for hours in a Canton apartment. Ultimately, this woman, she's from Cherokee County and her name is Tara, went to that house for a cleaning walkthrough. Her friend was able to speak with us. Her friend's name is Christian Boyd, and she says that when her friend Tara went to that house, a man suddenly started attacking her. She sustained multiple stab wounds, including injuries to her head and eye. She eventually was able to escape by convincing the man to let her go to the hospital and promising to tell medical staff that she fell while cleaning. She drove herself to the hospital despite her injuries, and once there, reported the true nature of the attack. Canton police subsequently arrested 23-year-old Ezekiel Jackson. He's facing 3 counts of rape, aggravated aggravated battery, false imprisonment, and aggravated assault. And as we've been playing some of that video, you saw a bit of a GoFundMe. At this point, Tara is a mother of 4 children, and because she's unable to clean houses right now, her friend has established this GoFundMe for anyone who would like to support her. She has been to the hospital several times since the attack, and it's not sure how long her recovery will take. So we'll keep you updated on this heartbreaking story as we get any new details. Coming up here at 3 o'clock as we continue, we're going to check in with our Kevin Stewart about a soccer development in Roswell. What ultimately the status of this project is and what could be on the way. We're going to talk about it. Also want to get the latest as it relates to the King's visit here on the United States of America 250th celebration, considering the King's visit here is historic in the sense that it is the second time a British monarch is addressing members of Congress. We are going to touch base on that straight ahead. Welcome back in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here at 3 o'clock. If you've got questions on any of the stories we're covering, feel free, as always, put them on our TikTok or YouTube chats, and I'll try to answer and get to them. You're part of this conversation, so if you've got anything you want to know more about, let me know. In the meantime, I want to talk about how the World Cup is predicted to jumpstart a booming interest in soccer here in America and right here at home in Atlanta. I mean, we've already seen this, right, where we have a National Women's Soccer League coming here independent of the FIFA World Cup. But will it jumpstart a proposed soccer stadium and entertainment district in Roswell? A project announced 2 years ago in Roswell has seen little movement since. And our Kevin Stewart has been following up on this story today and joins us live. Kevin, it's great to see you. What are you finding out about this project?
Yeah, a lot has happened since March of 2024 on this project, including a new mayor, Mary Robichaud. And so I touched base with the mayor's office, and they provided a statement for me. I want to read it to you in its entirety. I want you to take a look at this. She says, throughout the 2025 campaign and the first 100 days of my administration, it has become clear that Roswell needs to more thoroughly examine the prospect of a 15,000-plus seat stadium. I remain committed to economic development in all of Roswell, but we need to carefully consider development projects of this size and take time to hear from residents. As a matter of good governance, I look forward to evaluating projects thoroughly through feasibility studies and other appropriate analysis. Now, according to the mayor's office, the area that they're focusing on for this project is Mansell Overlook. We're talking about a stadium and an entertainment district. Think of something like the Battery. There's no price tag on this project, but the stadium would feature 2 soccer teams from the USL, the United Soccer League. So we're not talking about MLS where Atlanta United plays or the NWSL. These are well-established leagues. These teams would compete or complement Atlanta United or the playing NWSL team. Think about, say, like the NFL and the AFL, or the NFL and the USFL back in the 80s, or the NBA and the ABA back in the day. With the mayor's statement in mind, we talked to residents.
Installations. When people come here this week, what will they be able to see?
And that would be cool. I'd like to have that. I like soccer. As long as the cost is reasonable for people local to go. It's kind of frustrating to want to go watch an Atlanta Falcons game and have to pay $2,000 for a seat. That's just ridiculous.
I think we'd probably be better off with the NHL stadium, if I were to say, but that's just my opinion.
But the interesting thing is that location isn't too far from where Alpharetta's talking about doing that, so there may be some synergy there. I mean, is that something? Do you think that would help it, or?
Well, I think I would definitely help it. But the biggest thing is always going to be just how do you fix the traffic, right? Can't fix traffic, and it's been like that for 10 years now. But we have Canton Street here that's still not paved and looks awful, and we expect to throw parties every third Thursday, and it's kind of how do we take care of our city before we start something else.
All right, now keep in mind, since the 2 years since this project was announced, that NWSL team wasn't even a thought as far as we know. That announcement just came recently, so that looks like that project's going to get out of the ground faster than this USL women's team. And will that have any type of impact on the future of this development? Also keep in mind that what we're talking about is kind of an upstart league. The USL Super League, that's the women's league that the USL has. That is a first division team, just like the NWSL, but not a well-established team. On the men's side, there's going to be a men's team in this stadium, we're told, and that's going to be on the USL Championship. That's a second division or a minor league team that's going to be in that project. We do understand that the USL is talking about having a first division team that would be akin to MLS, and they're going to institute something called promotion relegation, which how soccer teams around the world usually organize their sports, where the minor league team, the second division team, gets promoted to the big league if they win their league. So will that have any type of impact, the stature of the league, if the city continues to move forward with this project? Because quite honestly, this has been a controversial project. We've been working on this for a while, and it has been tough to get people to talk about this in the community. Ariel?
Yeah, Kevin, it's really interesting, the point you made of just we may have a National Women's Soccer League facility, everything put together before we even get this project up and off the ground. And one thing, I mean, you think back 2024, it doesn't feel that long ago, but at the same time, it's like, oh, wow, a lot of things have happened in that time. And based on the mayor's statement, which you read, it's kind of like she's saying, this isn't going to be a thing anytime soon, like according to the points you were just mentioning.
Yeah, it's certainly not dead, but it is cold. It's not certainly top of mind. One of the reasons why we wanted to look at this is because of the World Cup. And when this was announced 2 years ago, the thinking was that, okay, we're going to have the World Cup here. There's going to be a lot of excitement surrounding soccer, and this would be a good opportunity to get a project like this out of the ground. The talk was a stadium between 10,000 and 15,000, and the mayor is saying, let's hold up. Let's get more public input before we do anything on this project, which has been sitting around for more than 2 years now, 2 years and some months.
Well, Kevin, as always, thank you for the conversation, letting us know what to expect. No doubt you'll continue to follow up. I know you said it's been a little challenging trying to get people in the community to talk about the status of this project. So hopefully, as you keep asking questions and following up, we'll get more answers if any development does start to happen. So, Kevin, as always, thanks so much for joining us live. We'll see you again later this evening. Appreciate you and your reporting. As we continue at 3 o'clock, let's switch gears to some national stories we're covering, you guys, because as of right now, King Charles III is currently addressing the United States Congress. He is the second British monarch to do so. His mother, Queen Elizabeth, addressed Congress back in 1991. So let's dip in and listen to some of what King Charles has to say to members of the House and Senate.
Cultural exchange empowers citizens and future leaders of both countries. The Marshall Scholarship named after the great General George Marshall, and the association of which I am so proud to be patron, are emblematic of the connection between our two countries. Since its founding, more than 2,300 scholarships have been awarded, opening doors for Americans from all walks of life to study at the United Kingdom's leading universities. So as we look toward the next 250 years, we must also reflect on our shared responsibility to safeguard nature, our most precious and irreplaceable asset. Millennia before our nations existed, before any border drawn, the mountains of Scotland and Appalachia were one, a single continuous range forged in the ancient collision of continents. The natural wonders of the United States of America are indeed a unique asset, and generations of Americans have risen to this calling. Indigenous, political and civic leaders, people in rural communities and cities alike, have all helped to protect and nurture what President Theodore Roosevelt called the glorious heritage of this land's extraordinary natural splendor, on which so much of its prosperity has always depended. Yet, even as we celebrate the beauty that surrounds us, our generation must decide how to address the collapse of critical natural systems, which threatens far more than the harmony and essential diversity of nature. We ignore at our peril the fact that these natural systems, in other words, nature's own economy, provide the foundation for our prosperity and our national security. The story of the United Kingdom and the United States is at its heart a story of reconciliation, renewal, and remarkable partnership. From the bitter divisions of 250 years ago, we forged a friendship that has grown into one of the most consequential alliances in human history. I pray with all my heart that our alliance will continue to defend our shared values with our partners in Europe and the Commonwealth and across the world. And that we ignore the clarion calls to become ever more inward-looking. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Vice President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, America's words carry weight and meaning, as they have since independence. The actions of this great nation matter even more. President Lincoln understood this so well with his reflection in the magisterial Gettysburg Address, that the world may little note what we say, but will never forget what we do. And so to the United States of America, on your 250th birthday, let our two countries rededicate ourselves to each other in the selfless service of our peoples and of all the peoples of the world. God bless the United States, and God bless the United Kingdom.
You need to come back. Okay, guys, we're going to bring you back here to studio at Fox 5 Atlanta. You're watching as King Charles was addressing members of the House and Senate there, addressing Congress. And ultimately, this is a historic visit for King Charles because he was the second British monarch to address Congress. His mother, Queen Elizabeth, did it back in 1991. But I want to let you know a little bit more about the King's visit and why he's here. It's a bit of a soft diplomatic approach between the King and President Donald Trump. Relations have been strained between Great Britain and the United States. The war in Iran, President Trump's tariffs, all reasons why Great Britain and the United States haven't exactly been seen eye to eye on all of the issues, and these two countries share a very close relationship. So you can see Queen Camilla, King Charles came to visit the United States, same for America's 250th birthday, but the deeper reason and overtones, of course, are to help with repairing potentially some relationships between the two countries. You can see the King and Queen shaking hands there through with Brooke Rollins, Commissioner of the Department of Agriculture, and other members of the House and Senate, other lawmakers, as they make their way through Congress there. One thing we are expecting is that the King and Queen will return to the White House for a formal state dinner this evening. We'll keep you updated as that progresses forward. But I want to talk a little bit about some other stories we're following related to the King's visit, because the fallout from the Epstein files continues, and ultimately, while the King was here, some leaders of Congress, some representatives, lawmakers wanted to speak to the King about his family's relationship with the former financier, Jeffrey Epstein, specifically the King's brother, Prince Andrew, or now former Prince Andrew, after his titles were revoked by the King because of the investigations into him regarding Epstein. But ultimately, Representative Congresswoman Ro Khanna wanted to speak with King Charles about any potential family ties to Jeffrey Epstein. House Speaker Mike Johnson had said that lawmakers would not get that opportunity, and that would not happen during the King's visit. But across the pond, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer's former chief of staff, the man you see here on your screen, Morgan McSweeney, says he made a serious mistake by recommending Peter Mandelson for the UK ambassador to the United States position. Now, that man would be Peter Mandelson, who got that UK to the United States ambassadorship. But Morgan McSweeney spoke before lawmakers at the House of Commons Foreign Affairs Committee, and he says that he made a serious lapse of judgment in recommending Mandelson. He says he takes responsibility for his role in elevating the former friend of Jeffrey Epstein to this post. Take a listen to what he had to say.
I resigned because I believe responsibility should rest with those who make serious mistakes. Accountability in public life cannot apply only when it is convenient. The Prime Minister relied on my advice, and I got it wrong. It is also important, however, to distinguish between what I did do and what I did not do. What I did do was make a recommendation based on my judgment that Mandelson's experience, relationships and political skills could serve the national interest in Washington at an important moment. That judgment was a mistake. What I did not do was oversee national security vetting, ask officials to ignore procedures, request that steps should be skipped, or communicate explicitly or implicitly that checks should be cleared at all costs. I would never have considered that acceptable. These processes are in place to protect our national security.
Okay, so you're listening as McSweeney was speaking about how he takes responsibility for recommending Mandelson. He was the former chief of staff for current British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. And Keir Starmer fired Mandelson in September of last year. Police started investigating Mandelson in February this year over accusations that he offered sensitive government information to Jeffrey Epstein while he was working for the UK government as ambassador back in 2009. And that investigation started as a direct result of our release, our government's release of the Epstein files. You've seen people here on United States soil call for further investigations on behalf of the Department of Justice into well-known figures related to Jeffrey Epstein. Great Britain and other countries have launched their own investigations as a result of those files being released. But here on American soil, we have not seen any investigations from an agency, Department of Justice standpoint, Lawmakers from the House Oversight Committee have been conducting their inquiry. Up next, we expect them to try to speak with further people close to Jeffrey Epstein, like Bill Gates, and there has been some discussion as well of interviewing Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. You may remember the lawmakers really wanted to speak with former Attorney General Pam Bondi, and they had subpoenaed her, but then President Trump let her go as Attorney General of the United States. So we'll keep you updated as any further investigations into Jeffrey Epstein proceed forward, or rather those tied to Jeffrey Epstein proceed forward. In the meantime, coming up here at 3 o'clock, we've got some other news to get to. I want to take you out with our Doug Evans to some training that happened with a canine and how this is supposed to help law enforcement as they catch dangerous criminals. Also going to check in with our Maria Guzman about a career fair to help medical professionals. All of that straight ahead. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstad. Thanks so much for being here. So I mentioned one thing that law enforcement in Metro Atlanta are working on is a training exercise despite the rain. And our Doug Evans went out to Fayette County to get a look at that. So let's check in with Doug and see what kind of training went underway today. Bring you back. I think Doug sent something in and we need to make sure that that is good to go and working. So let's continue along. We have our Eli Jordan, who was able to talk a little bit about a new fire station that broke ground in Clayton County. They held a ribbon cutting today to help the community. It's a sign of growth that's been happening in communities here across South Georgia, that we need more and more emergency services and personnel to help. And so with this new fire station, they're hoping to be able to serve more of the public. Let's check in with our Eli Jordan on that new fire station if we have it. Let's see. Do we have Eli's? Okay, let's see. We're going to continue to check in with him and see what's going on. You're saying, okay, I'm being told from our switcher here in studio that we actually have Doug's information. So let's see and what's going on with Doug.
Man Tracker is one of the longest running training exercises in the Southeast for training canines and other police procedures. It's going on right now, mostly in Coweta County, but also here in Fayette County. I'm at the Fayette County Sheriff's Office Training Center, where Officers and sheriff's deputies from around the Southeast have gathered with their canines to do training today. I wanted to give you a taste of what's going on here and talk with one of the instructors here, Sergeant Mark Story from the Coweta County Sheriff's Office, and talking about the training that's going on here in simulated car stops where a suspect bails and makes a run for it.
Police canines up to the dog! Sorry. All fleeing! All fleeing! Suspect slowly! Walk towards the sound of my voice!
Man Tracker has a long history of canine training.
Oh, years and years of it. It's just been fantastic over the years to see it grow and have the support from the sheriff, support locally from the community. It draws people from all across the Southeast now.
How important is training with these canines? It seems like we're getting training for both the officers and the dogs themselves.
And that's the most important part. It's a team. So to train both the dog and the handler together, because they're the ones going to be out there doing the work.
Mistakes are being made. Is that what this is all about?
Absolutely. You can only learn if you make mistakes. So we like to have some because that's the way both the officers and the dogs learn.
As you said, you've got people here from all across the Southeast. I've seen Tuscaloosa, I've seen all over Metro Atlanta. What's the importance of these folks training together and learning from each other and learning from you guys?
I think the networking is good, and I think law enforcement, we call it a brotherhood. I really believe it is. And so to have different agencies come and us all be able to get together for a common purpose, that's one of the foundations of Man Tracker, and you know, we're just blessed to have it every year and blessed to have sheriffs support it and continue it.
But it encompasses, Mark, and if you can, talk about some of the other aspects of law enforcement that are going on today.
Absolutely. There's everything from 911 dispatching, firearm safety, concealed carry. There's just it started out as basically a canine thing. That's where the name comes from, Man Tracker. But it's actually a full-fledged public safety event now, of training of all kinds of public safety.
As Sergeant Story says, the Man Tracker program has evolved into other types of law enforcement training that's ongoing right now in neighboring Coweta County, and this will be going on throughout the week. For Fox Local, I'm Doug Evans in Fayette County.
All right, Doug. Well, thanks so much for giving us an update on the Man Tracker training. Good to see how in tune the handler and the dog can be, and especially the fact that when a suspect might put their hands up, the dog takes a step back. So maybe that would minimize any adverse effects to someone that the dog might be tracking. As we continue here at 3 o'clock, you guys, coming up next, we're going to go out to Phipps Plaza to check in with our Chris Rosenthal. Something beautiful is underway, and who doesn't need a little beauty in their life on a Tuesday afternoon? That is straight ahead. Okay, guys, welcome back in. It is 3:53 on your Tuesday afternoon. I am Ariel Onstein, and it is great to have you here with me. So we have Chris Rosenthal out live at Phipps Plaza. So let's see if we can bring in Chris, who is standing by to talk a little bit about what is going on there, because this incredible Fleurs de Ville Flower Show is returning for a third year. And as we take a look at this, we know that this has been an ongoing situation that you can enjoy through this weekend. So let's get out to Chris, who is waiting to talk a little bit more about this and how you can enjoy. Chris, I see you. I also see something gorgeous behind you. What's going on today?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, these floral designers, florists and floral arrangers have been setting up these displays, kind of like the one here that you see behind me, about a dozen of them here at Phipps Plaza. We'll just plan around and show you. You know, this morning it was pretty rainy out, but you know, rain does help bring the flowers. It is springtime, and so these beautiful floral designs here on display. Again, they've been working on setting them up here, and they will be here throughout the rest of the week and into the weekend, into Sunday. And so, I mean, this is just one of them here. I'll walk over and show you one of the others. It's really cool. People have been, you know, coming by and checking these out, and really the smells, even as you get close to them, you can really smell them. Smell the beautiful flowers as well. These are all mostly real flowers, not fake flowers at all. And you know, these are, as they say, sort of a perishable art display. And so, but I talked earlier with Tina Barkley with Fleur de Ville just about this event and what people can expect when they come by this week to see this. Talk to me about those floral installations. When people come here this week, you know, what will they be able to see?
Each installation is done by a different local Atlanta florist, and that's what makes the show special, is that we're in Phipps. Who local is working with flowers, and not just popping up pretty flowers, but really designing a piece of art that you can really take in and appreciate. These florists really are incredible creators, so Phipps has given us that platform to showcase the talent here.
Yeah, you know, when you walk in here, there's even a smell, huh?
It is. Everything is fresh, dried, or there's all natural botanicals that the florists are challenged to use. And of course, the show is on for 5 days, so they've got to be really creative in the materials that they choose and use.
And yeah, and so again, this goes on through Sunday. And they will also, on Saturday, there'll be floral pop-up markets and demonstrations, chance to learn a little bit more about some of these flowers and how you can take care of flowers yourself. So again, here at Phipps Plaza, come on out, check it out. It's beautiful, beautiful works of art here on display.
Beautiful, Chris, indeed. I have to say, I so loved the first installation you showed me, and now that I've seen this one, I'm like, this one's my new favorite. The combination of pink and green, the hair, it's incredible. And also so wonderful just to see how they're able to use texture, dried and live flowers, if you will, to create this. Before I let you go, Chris, real quick, pronounce the name of this for me. Is it Fleur de Ville? Are we saying it right?
Yeah, my French is not that great, but yeah, Fleur de Ville, yeah.
Fleur de Ville.
And that's their florist show.
Okay, perfect. And we can enjoy through this Sunday. Chris Rosenthal, as always, thank you so much for showing this to us. Best assignment. I'll let you go, and we will see you again later. Chris Rosenthal, thanks so much. I am Ariel Onstein, you guys. We have more news and weather headed your way here upcoming at 4 o'clock. Don't go anywhere. That starts here soon.
you.